Go 5-0 yesterday.
Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
And our special guest is back. Welcome
Oh,
back.
actually, our first returning guest. Before he announced himself, he's our
Yes.
first. I think he's our first guest to return. So
Yes.
history being made in the GBM podcasting annals.
Very much appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, I had a great time last time and looking forward to it.
Thank you. Well, the last time you joined us, it was one of our best days betting ever. Me, I don't know about Brad.
Yeah, I mean, we've
We
had
had the
all this.
Garion, right? Like it was like plus like 25, 30 units. Like it was insane.
Yeah, I was at least that. I think I was better than that actually. It was pretty insane. Like
I'll see
crazy.
it.
So
Yeah, I think I was
we're giving you the
opposite.
credit for that, for joining
Yeah, I
us.
was opposite on like 90% of the plays, so I'll see if I can do the same today.
Well, let's hope we're all on the same side and we all win money. That's the goal. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, if we disagree, it's fine too. Like it's good discussion, but yeah, and as far as Madrid goes, it's been a rough tournament. I mean, I have to say it's been tough. Today was a really good day for me for sure, but the rest of the event has been tough. I can't tell whether to take the altitude and the conditions more into account, the clay prowess and like how good players are on clay, or form. Like I don't know what
it's
to
been
weigh
cold.
most.
Like by Madrid standard, it's been cold. Like the temperature's been in the temperature's been like in the high 50s Fahrenheit, low 60s, which is what, like 20, well below like 15, mid-teens to high teens Celsius. So like I think that's why you're seeing that, Manny. So it's been playing a lot slower because of that. If you remember last year, I think it was up near 30 Celsius. And like traditionally it's a lot warmer. It's been cool. I would almost say cold for by tennis standards, but like yeah, so I think that's why you're seeing that. So it's probably in between.
Yeah, it's I actually started recently tracking temperature for each day, so I'm gonna kind of try to see how much of an impact it has. But yeah, last year I think was like 75 average Fahrenheit, and this year is like 59. I think today was a
Wow.
little bit warmer.
Okay.
But stats wise for the venue, it's 80% holds, which is high for clay.
Yeah.
But that's not adjusted. So you do have guys like Hubie in there. So tie breaks 13%. I think that's near average. And then aces, which I do adjust, it's surface adjusted and player adjusted. It's basically average. So it's been pretty like maybe medium, maybe a little to the medium fast side. That's kind of what I get from watching. It's weird. I'll watch a match and it looks very quick to me, and then I'll watch another one and it doesn't. So I don't know.
It's definitely. I mean, I think the other thing too is like, so I think sometimes when we're watching, we get a little bit. It's almost like you get a little bit of a bias because like the weeks before this, or like we have Monte Carlo and Barcelona as the main tournaments the 2 weeks before this, which is like the slowest on the entire tour. So then you watch like the ball move at all, and you're like, wow, this is like this is lightning fast, and it's like
Depends who you're watching too. I mean, if you're
And
watching
we'll have to recalibrate next
or
week in Rome, right? Because next week in Rome is pretty slow again.
yeah,
Right?
I think so. Yeah, I have to look at it, but
I mean, there's fewer. It feels like there's less and less of these like clay, these faster clay or these altitude clay. Like this is the only like even. I think it's the only even like 500 level tournament that's at clay altitude, right? Everything else is either all the other altitude tournaments are 250s, I think. So a lot of these. My point is, a lot of these better guys, like this is the only time you'll see them at altitude, which makes it hard to judge.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
sure. I feel like we would have more edge against the market or against the books.
I disagree. I think the books have gotten like last year. I think they were a lot worse, especially with the over-unders. This year, I've noticed much higher over-under totals. I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah, the over-unders, if you were just to blindly bet them, they are 51 overs, 55 unders. And I think I had posted going into this year, the last 2 years were like 65% overs or something. I mean, it was
and it makes sense because like I've just anecdotally I've noticed like it seems like the books are like the lines have moved up like a half game to like the market has moved like a half game to a full game higher on these over-unders, it feels like to me. Like seeing it 22 and a halves last year, 22s and 22 and a halves, which is like your neutral and maybe even like your like some
Yeah.
play kind of over-unders, and now I feel like you're seeing a ton of 23s. It's kind of a preview, but like the Fritz Hubie's 25.5. I was really hoping to hit an over there, but at
Yeah,
25.5, it's almost like why bother at that point?
It's like betting a 3-set line
yeah,
essentially.
basically.
At
Um,
minus 110. It's like pretty awful, just like mathematically speaking, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
my-
mean, we'll get into that match, but like, I mean, that match would probably hit anything plus money, right? That's kind of where I'm leaning, but we'll talk about it.
Just one other thing I wanted to say. So Madrid coming in past 2 years, 106 overs and 85 unders. I mean that's a legitimate sample. This is 202 matches,
Mhm.
so there's some pushes in there. But it was at 55% overs, just betting blindly for 2 years. And
and
now
it
that
makes sense, Tony, because I
yeah,
looked at pre-tournament and it was like half roughly. I think it was pretty close to 50-50 over under 22.5 games, which is kind of like the neutral, which tells you
Yep.
the markets were playing. I think the markets were setting a lot of over-unders like 21.5, 22. And now we've seen that
Yep.
move up at half a game to a game. And like that 22 to 23 is a crucial game, man. It's amazing how many matches come in that 22 to 23 game range.
Yeah, for sure. It's a
Yeah, even
huge number.
Hubie matches, like the Hubie Altmaier match, it was what 4 and 6, which is 23. You know, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. If it doesn't go 3 sets, like it's very often that it falls in that range.
Yeah, especially with Hubie, even though there were
Yeah.
6 breaks or something in that match
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But that's the thing when you're betting tie breaks, right? You don't necessarily need both guys to hold 6 times. Like guys are allowed to break back. I think like we
Sure.
forget that sometimes as like tennis analysts. Like
Right.
you're allowed to break the other guy back. It's not like one break ends the set.
Right. Yeah, that's always a percentage of the times you're going to go over. That is going to happen.
Yeah, there are very few matches which have tie breaks that there are no breaks. Right? Like I would say the majority of tie break sets have a break in it. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I know indoor hard, a lot of them they just hold, but yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
I mean, Diego Schwartzman does play tie breaks occasionally, so
Yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's get into the round of 16 matches. I mean, it's fantastic. Tomorrow's a fantastic slate. I actually called out of work because I want to watch the matches.
that's great.
So I mean, I love these round of 16 like Masters 1000s where they play the entire slate in one day. Like it's just fantastic. It's just like, all day action. And these are like good matches with, like all the top guys. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. This is generally when I watch too. Like I'll
Yeah.
try to watch as many as I can tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's great. Let me pull up the lines. Did you guys all see it? Do you want to play guess the lines or
I went through and I briefly looked at the line, so I
briefly
can't really
looked
do
at it?
too much
Okay.
guessing.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know most of them. I think all of them.
Okay.
I'm not good at guessing the line anyway, so
Well, I like playing it because like I think it's
yeah,
if you're off by a lot, it's actually a good reason to back that guy.
Or it's a good reason to rethink why you're that far off.
exactly.
I mean, honestly, it's usually
100%.
like I feel best when I'm like a game off the when my guess is a game off and I know why. That's when I feel good.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've told you guys I don't actually make lines. I just try to predict market error. So I actually don't, but I do intuitively look at some lines and I think like, wow, that is way off of what I would have thought.
Okay.
So
Because usually when I bet, I think of what the line should be or in my head.
yeah, that's absolutely a good way to approach it.
And
Yeah.
see if like yeah. All right, so first match, 5 a.m. About 7 hours. We got Andrei Rublev and Talon Griekspoor. Rublev is a 3-game favorite, minus 250 on the money line. Griekspoor is plus 200, over under of 23. What are your initial thoughts here, Brad?
I think this line is like kind of right. I mean, I don't really want to get involved in this match just because like I'm really not sure. Like Greek sport, especially when it's a little cooler and the serve isn't going as quick, he just like shouldn't be that good on clay with his game style. And his results haven't been up until this tournament. Rublev, on the other hand, it depends how you feel about like where Rublev is now. Like, do we feel significantly better about Rublev now that he's beaten Facundo Bagnis and Chokina? Like, I don't know. And yeah, Chokina did throw in another choke in the match in the second rounders. So like, do we suddenly, or the third round, do we suddenly feel better about Rublev? I don't know. I feel like this is a really hard match to know anything about. I could see getting interested in a Talon money line, but I'm probably just gonna pass.
For me, I'm all over Greek sport here. I'm not high on Rublev. I didn't really like what I saw with him against Fokina. I actually thought he should have, in a way, lost that match if Fokina was a tad bit mentally stronger. I think he comes away with a win there. And Greek sport, I mean, these are good conditions for him. You know, like whether it's cool or not, like the altitude clearly helps him, clearly helps that serve. And like Rublev just doesn't seem fully confident right now. Like he's making a lot of like unnecessary errors and just, you know, he kind of reminds me of the Rublev from like 2021, 2022. But I don't know. My favorite line here is taking the 3 games. I'd rather not do the money line just because I don't know. I think Rublev should win this, and I think like Rublev, might be a little bit stronger mentally as well. But like I can easily see Greek sport take a set and like, I think the 3 games, like I think it should be like 2-2 or, probably 2 game spread is what I think would be more accurate. So I think I'm going to take the 3. Also, Greek sport is such a good server,
Yeah, but that is somewhat mitigated. The temperature's a little cooler. It's going to be an 11 a.m. match, so it's going to be even cooler than like a midday match. It still is in the morning. I think it's supposed to be in the 50s. But I don't think it's supposed to be too windy, so that should help the serve. I don't know. Greek sport's just done like, and I know this is the altitude clay, but Greek sport's done very little on clay in his career. Like, I don't know. I can't really get too excited about like, okay, I get it. He beat Holger, but Holger's can be all over the place. Tower of Daniel in 3 sets, not the most impressive. Like, and again, I'm not saying that Rublev's impressive either. Like, I get it. I'm not necessarily against your play. Like, if I had to play it, I would play it the money line just because it's plus money. But
yeah,
I can't get excited about either guy here.
But also the thing with Rublev, I feel, is like he struggles on defense. I don't think he's the best mover on clay. And Greek sport is kind of a guy that will put pressure on you, and force you into corners and like, force you to transition from defense to offense, to win points.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just don't know how. I mean, like, this isn't so much of a pro Rublev take. I just don't know how. Like, I'm not really fully bought into Greek sport on clay either.
But isn't minus 250 too short, considering how Rublev has looked?
I mean, where would you put if you were doing power rankings of Greek sport on clay? Where would you put him?
On this Madrid clay, it's way higher than on like a Rome clay. Like I think the conditions matter with him more than a lot of guys.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, we talked about it in the kind of we talked about it amongst ourselves. Just don't know. I just don't know. Like this isn't playing that fast, right? Like it's playing, or at least it feels like it's not playing as fast as it was in previous editions. So I'm kind of maybe muting my take there on the. Like, I'm not saying I'm capping as opposed to like Barcelona, but I'm capping it somewhere in between. But I don't have a strong opinion on it. I mean, I'm just I'm arguing against whatever you would say. So
I think that this is the accurate line if they were playing in Rome. But given Rublev's struggles and the conditions, I think it should be probably like minus 180 plus 150 kind of thing.
Alright.
No.
Tony, anything to add? Unless you have any
Yeah, I'll kind of go through the numbers, but before I do that, I have a little different take on Rublev than you guys. I was very interested in watching his last match because he's just been so bad. I wanted to see. I thought he played very well against Fokina. I thought Fokina, I agree that Fokina could have won, but Fokina also played very well that match. So I am sold on Rublev is back to being Rublev. I don't.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect him to regress back to where he's been the last month. I think he's going to be normal Andre Rublev. Whether that justifies the line, that's a totally different question. Yeah, so stats wise, let me just pull this up. So yeah, kind of what Brad was talking about. I mean, Greek Sports stats long term. Last year he's aren't good. Last year he's played 8 matches on clay. He is at 97% break plus hold. Rublev's 17 matches over the last year. He's at about 108, 109. So way higher. Let's just do last 3 months, which Rublev's obviously been pretty bad. Rublev's got 4 matches last 3 months. He's still at 103 hold plus break. In those matches, he is an average almost 3.5 game favorite though. Greek Spore, last 3 months. Actually, this is all last month. I apologize. So for both. So Rublev's only played 4 matches last month or 3 months. Greek Sore's got 5. He is at 96 hold plus break. So it's really just this tournament. And sorry, Greek Spore was average half game underdog when he had the 96. So it's really just these past couple matches, I think, where Greek Sports look good, and maybe it's the conditions. He's at 107.5 hold plus break this tournament, and he's been an average. Well, he was a 3-game fav and a 3-game dog in his 2 matches.
I think that justifies that the conditions really mean something for Greek Sport. Like those
could,
sea-level
yeah.
play tournaments are just terrible for him.
Rublev's at 121 hold plus break his 2 matches, but he's also been a 4-game favorite. So
right.
I
And
think
he played Bagnus. I mean,
Yeah.
one. I mean, I think Bagnus is just like the perfect match for Rublev. Like Bagnus isn't going to hurt him.
Yeah, I'm probably passing here. Just like looking at the numbers, if I was forced to play, I would probably play Greek Spore. But I kind of the games is appealing. I have Rublev most likely to serve first here, but he mixes it up. So Greek Spore always returns.
Yeah, I would possibly play like a tiebreak in the match if you can get a decent line there. Like Rublev, I mean, I was hoping to get a better line on Rublev over 12.5, but that's just so juiced. So probably not. The Greek Sport over 12.5 at plus 125 actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, if you think Greek Sport can get a set, right? Like that looks pretty good.
I do, yeah. So that might actually be my play at plus 125.
I think it's a better look for you in the games. Like, is Greek Sport ever winning this like 3? Like, does Greek Sport ever win this like running away like 3 and 4?
No.
And I'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised. Like, I could see Greek Sport squeaking out a 6-4 set, but like, I expect a response from Rublev. Like, I don't think it's going to be super straightforward. Over 2.5 sets is plus 140.
I wish I saw the Rune match. Rune has just been all over the place. So it doesn't even necessarily mean much that he beat Rune to me. I don't know how he played.
And the match against Taro was 6-4 in the third. I don't know that that's great result either. I know it's first match in these conditions, but I'm not sure that's great for. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, it's.
But to me, this is just as much about a fade on Rublev as it is a pro Greek Sport bet.
Yeah, see that part of it. I don't like just from watching the last match. Rublev looked like Rublev again. I mean,
I don't know about that.
I think he's over whatever. I'm not saying it was like peak Rublev, but he wasn't. I mean, ADF played good. Rublev just beat him.
Played
I mean,
okay, but like also there were some love 40s that he had where Fokina still held. Like it's not he's definitely not confident. He's second guessing himself. Like I don't think
he's
he's
not
back to
100.
where he
Yeah, maybe
was.
he's not 100%, but he's not. I wouldn't expect him to play as bad as he's been playing. Um, I would expect a match at least as good as he played there.
But Greek Sport is also a guy that like if you're not feeling the ball, he's kind of a guy that can take the racket out of your hand because he hits so aggressively, you know?
He can also take the racket out of his own hand.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Like he should be a dog here. But if Greek Sport's playing well, Rublev is going to have trouble. I think I'm going to split the unit three ways and go like the money line, the +3, and the over 12.5. So that's how I'm going to play it.
I think pass here
I'm
for
disappointed
me.
to see the under 23 here too. Again, this is kind of talking
Yeah.
about what we were talking about before. Like the market is definitely adjusted. Like I think this
Yeah.
over to under 23 makes sense here, but I'm disappointed to see it this high.
Me
What's
too.
the weather tomorrow? Does anybody know?
It's cool again. It's the same weather it's been all week. Like not too
Okay.
windy. High. I think at match time this is in the morning, so it'll be like high 50s.
It looks like 18 Celsius is the high.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
cool.
Yeah.
okay.
And then it's a little cooler in the morning. I
Yeah.
think the peak temp is like 2-3 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So 65 is the high. So yeah, it's probably average, same as today. Then I think 60 for an average. Pretty
Yeah.
much same as the whole tournament.
Yeah, the whole tournament's been like pretty much the same weather conditions. I think it
Yeah.
was one day it rained.
Very pleasant.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like 60 is cold if you're just chilling.
It's probably good for the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would good tennis weather if you're running around.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm all over Greek sport and you guys are staying away. That's
Yeah, I'm pass.
how we're
I
going
think
there.
so. Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Just feels like a really high variance match. Like it feels like it could go a lot of different ways, to be honest.
Which is why I'm taking plus money.
Yeah.
Good point.
I mean, yeah. I would never tip back Rublev here, at that kind of price. All right, next match. Medvedev against Bublik. So Medvedev is a 4.5 game favorite. Minus 425 on the money line. Bublik is plus 325, over under 21.5. All right, let's start with you, Tony. Here, what are your thoughts here? This is like I have so many thoughts here, but like I can't really express them.
Sure. Yeah, let me just pull it up 1 second here.
Remember, this is at 11 a.m., which is like way before Bublik likes to wake up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so we were talking about that. Bublik obviously hates playing early. I saw the post-game interview today, or post-match interview, and he was that was like the first thing they talked about is how much he hates playing mornings and how he was half asleep when the match started, which 100% believe because it was among the worst 3 games I've ever seen anybody play of tennis. And yeah, so I don't, I wouldn't expect tomorrow to be much different in terms of that. I mean, he's got it in his head, even if it wasn't true, it's in his head that he hates it.
Yeah.
So I saw both matches. I mean, when Med plays like that, he can beat anybody. So, but this line is high though.
Yeah, it's high. It's way higher than I thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah, it's higher than I thought it would be too. Let me just look at the numbers. So, pull it up here. Sorry, I'm a little slow today. Brain's not working too well. Okay, here we go. So last year on clay, I should have done the money line stuff too, but Medvedev 13 matches. He's 111 hold plus break. Bublik 8 matches. He is at 90 hold plus break. Just looking at the last month, this is month or 3 months. That's all they played. Bublik, 3 matches. He's at 88 hold plus break. Today, well, this tournament, he's at 103 for 2 matches. So he must have had a horrific third match. I don't know what match that was, but it brought him all the way down to 88. But he's at 103 this tournament. That's probably the most relevant thing. In those
Bublik or Medvedev?
This is Bublik.
Bublik, yeah. Well, he got destroyed his first match on clay this year. He basically didn't show up. I think it was like he might have been like 1 in love or something. It was really bad.
Yeah, so that's distorting the numbers. So yeah, that I guess just the best thing to do is just look at this tournament. Then he's at 103, and he's been an average of a 3.5 game dog in those 2 matches. So way outperforming. Medvedev, 2 matches. He is at just 100 hold plus break, and he's been a average 3.3 game favorite in those 2 matches. But this is a case where I don't think numbers do it justice, because Korda played Korda played his best match I've seen him play in like a year, and Medvedev still beat him. Med looked like Med. He's just pain in the ass, getting everything back and just making it life as miserable as possible for him. So I don't think Bublik's going to deal with
you have
that.
to throw the stats out anyway, but just because he has that tendency of just clowning, like, you don't know when he's going to clown, when he's going to show up. So I don't know. I take him with a grain of salt. Bublik stats, What are your thoughts, Brad?
I have a lot of thoughts. So first of all, you guys brought up you guys are saying, I don't know why the line's so high. Well, there's a couple of reasons. I mean, A, so you guys brought up the 11 a.m., but B, there's a pretty significant head-to-head here. There's a 5-0 edge here for Medvedev on the head-to-head, and Medvedev's won 11 of the 12 sets. I think 1 set has gone to a tiebreak. The rest have been like, I think, there might be 1 or 2 7-5 sets as well in there. And the rest of the time it's been Medvedev, like, really straightforward. The other thing with Bublik is like, I think we're looking at it and saying, wow, that's high because of 4.5 games. But with Bublik's tendency to just clown away, like 4.5 with Bublik is not the same as 4.5 with other guys. To that extent, I looked at Bublik's last 6 matches on clay, and in 5 of those, so he's lost the first set in all 6. In 5 of the 6, he's been breadsticked or bageled in the first set.
Wow, that's crazy.
And this is and now we're talking about 11 a.m., so it's gonna be like sleepy Bublik. So like I mean, I theoretically agree with you guys. Like 4.5 feels way too wide, though. Like
it does.
Medvedev played good on clay today, but he certainly is more liable to have off days or off sets on clay for sure than other surfaces, or than hard court, because he's also liable to have off sets and days on grass. But then clay for sure. I was a little bit disappointed in the way Korda played. I watched the 3rd set of the Korda Medvedev.
I didn't see that set. I saw the first 2.
I think Korda didn't play as good in the 3rd. I felt like I don't know. Medvedev started to hit a lot of drop shots, and Korda, similar to Shelton, really struggled against the drop shot. Like he did some, like, there were a couple points where he just like tapped the ball back to Medvedev off a drop shot and then just got like passed. Like it was kind of silly. But anyways, so those are some thoughts. Yeah. Now to go the other way with it, Bublik made the quarters here, I think, last year. He made the quarters, I think, in 2022 here. And then last year he won his first match and he lost a really close match against Ruud. And a Ruud who was probably playing better than he is now. Medvedev, I think if you look at the last several years, their stats, I think, here would be pretty similar. So I'm saying stuff in a lot of different directions. I'm tempted to back Bublik here in some capacity. The problem is I don't know how to do it other than to take the 325 money line, because I looked at 3 sets at 165, but man, you might only get 1 shot at Bublik to win a set. Like you might as well just, it's almost like I don't see like, and then on top of that, like, is it a terrible idea to take Medvedev minus 1.5 at minus 200 in the first set? I know it's super juice, but is there any chance that Bublik actually is ready for the first set of this tennis match?
No. I mean, I'm almost tempted to take the 6-1 or 6-love in the first set.
That's what I'm tempted to do too. And I think if you do those, man, if you go scroll down to those lines, it's 13-1 and 35-1
Just
for the
play
breadstick
both.
and the bagel.
Just play
If you
both.
put like 0.7 of a unit on the on the 13-1 and 0.3 of a unit on the 35-1,
Yeah.
you're getting like upwards of 9-1 for the breadstick or bagel in the first set. Given that
Yeah.
that like, and they're not all altitude, but given that 5 of the last 6 matches, Bublik has been breadsticked or bageled in the first set on clay, and
Given
we're
that
talking
it's
about
11 a.m.
and we're talking about a bad, and like they also talk about the head-to-head matchup. Like,
Yeah.
you know why that exists. It's because if Medvedev goes into like pain in the ass mode, like Bublik has no interest in out rallying Medvedev. He's gonna try to do something stupid within 4 shots.
Yeah, it feels like a bad matchup. Like when you read off those their career head to head, I'm not surprised. This isn't, you've got a guy with unbelievable rally tolerance against somebody who's just impatient. And also the thing that's really going to work against Bublik is Med's going to stand back on his serves. He's not going to have all these unreturned serves today like he did with Shelton.
Right.
I think Med's
Medvedev's the hardest guy to ace on the tour, or at least he's been in the past. He's had that.
Yeah,
tour in
him
the
and
past.
Monfils are like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think that, Brad, another good way to attack this that I was thinking of is splitting my unit 2 ways, but going first set under 8.5 at plus 210, and then playing the Bublik money line. So then you kind of get both, because like I kind of like the Bublik LWW again if you can get like, 12 or 13-1. Like I think that that's a realistic possibility.
It's just like at some point, Bublik's like, he has too much talent to be like this big of a dog. And it's like, then again, like maybe he doesn't, because like there's so many. The other thing to talk about too, Tennis Master on Twitter pointed this out, and I think it's a very valid point here. This is being played on the center court, which is a bigger court, just like I don't know, geographically, I don't know what,
Right.
like there's more surface area on this court, right? So Medvedev can stand even further back to return Bublik's serve. And I think that's relevant too. Like Medvedev has actually, like, he'll talk about the matches. He'll whine quite a bit if he's not on a big court about how he
I've
can't
heard that. Yeah, I've
run
heard
all
that.
over the place. So I think that's relevant here too. There's just so much, like, there's so much working against Bublik, but this line is also so big, but there's so much working against him.
Yeah.
I'm actually, it feels so trappy that they're trying to, that like the market's begging you to take Bublik, that I'm tempted to lay 4.5, just because like Bublik could easily clown away a set. Like you could actually get a backdoor cover here of 4.5 games in a 3-set cover. Like that's not out of the question.
I'm going to be opposite. I'm going to take Med minus the games. I don't see him. I don't know. Maybe he hangs for a set or something. I don't see it. I think Med's going to punish him. I wanted to say
I'm going to take the under 8.5 in the first set.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say something
See,
about.
I think you're better off doing the 6-0 or 6-1 for Med. You can, if you just bet those two in the way I said it, you get 9-1 roughly on that versus plus 210 for under 8.5. I just don't see why you would take the plus 210. Like, is it 9-1 significantly better than 2-1?
Well, you have that 6-2 in play.
But does that get you all the way from 2-1 to 9-1? Like that's a pretty big jump.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I think you're right then. I think I'll do the Med 6-love and Med 6-1.
See those
and
lines?
Split your unit on that intelligently, and you can get.
Can you scroll back down?
Yeah.
So see the 6-4 and 6-3 prices for Medvedev.
Yeah.
So if they thought Medvedev was serving first, well, let's just say if they didn't know who was going to serve first, those lines would 6-4 and 6-3 would be very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So they're showing the higher price for 6-4. I'm sorry, the lower price. So they're essentially they're favoring Bublik to serve first, which is also what I have.
And that makes a lot of sense, Tony. Because if you look at the other side, we can really see this the other side. Look how much. Look at the difference between Bublik 6-3 and Bublik 6-4.
Yeah. So the point I was going to make is on your 6-1 6-0 bet, the 6-1 particularly, you want to be serving first. Obviously, you want the two breaks.
The one exception to that might be with Bublik, because like do we really think Bublik's going to like go out and fight his all to hold if he's down 1-5 in a set?
Yeah, but I mean, it's still an extra. You'd still rather be serving than have
I
to break. But
no,
I
no doubt
agree.
you'd rather, but I'm
I
just
agree. I
sure,
agree.
like, again, like, there's a lot, like, anybody else, Tony, I would completely agree.
Yeah,
Like, almost
yeah.
literally any other guy on the tour. But, like,
Yeah, you're probably getting like 5 underhand serves in that game if he's down 4-0 or 5. You never Bublik will do it in match point. It doesn't matter. He's a maniac.
But it actually might be a good play, considering how far Medvedev stands.
and actually, I think that might be part of, too, why that line is so big, right? Like, why you're getting the 13 and the 35 is probably because of that.
Well, the books and the market, I feel like they think that Bublik is this kind of big server who plays a lot of tie breaks. Like that's how he's usually judged, right? Like his over-unders
Well, he's
are
a big
usually pretty
server.
high. Yeah, but
He's got a better return than people give him credit for, a better return
exactly.
game. But he's a big server for sure.
And he plays some lopsided sets. It's not like
Well, 'cause
Hubie where he's always going to go over. Like I always think that the under is actually a decent play with Bublik. Maybe not in this match, but in other matches.
Yeah, because my only concern here is Medvedev lost a set in both of his first two matches. He lost a set to Arnaldo and he dropped one to Quarter today. I know, Prana, you said Quarter played great, but he also dropped a set to Arnaldo in the first round.
Yeah, Med's
Medvedev
stats
drops a
weren't
lot
very,
of sets on clay.
yeah, his stats weren't very good. The hold plus break weren't very good for this tournament. I don't know. I thought Med looked very, very good the first 2 sets today. But yeah, I don't know. It just
This
feels
is a
like
tough match to cap.
I think Med steamrolls him here would be my guess.
Okay.
I
But
think I'm gonna like 4.5. I think this is I think like the more I talk myself through this, and I'll probably do the Medvedev 6-0, 6-1 the first set as well.
Okay.
Ron, I tend to agree with you. I think and I also think like legitimately you could get like a 3-set backdoor cover here. You could get like a 6-1, 4-6, 6-3 kind of score where you actually cover it's like I think if you're gonna back Medvedev here, I'll say this, I'd way rather lay the games than have the 2-0 personally here.
I agree.
Bublik was 1 point away today from losing 6-3, 6-3, like minimum. He was on that Love 40 game second set. He's 6-3 is the best he's going to lose that set. I mean, he's probably going to lose 6-1.
An interesting bet here, Brad, is the Bublik second set money line at plus 210.
Yeah, I know. Because I was thinking that too. Because like if he's gonna because that's the problem with the 3 sets, right? He's like you almost if you're gonna bet the 3 sets, you may as well just back the second set money line. Because I really don't see Bublik showing up for this first set.
Yeah.
But then again, so we talked about this whole we're on this whole narrative about Bublik 11 a.m. But then again, he's won at least twice this year at 11 a.m. So it's not like he can't win. He's just gonna complain about it and tell you how much he hates doing it. And tell you he was half asleep, but it's not like he's not necessarily going to find a way to win the match.
Honestly, it's pathetic scheduling, though. Like, why are these guys playing at 11 a.m. when the other half of the draw had the day off yesterday? It's just
that is strange.
It's all about selling tickets.
What about
I understand you're not going to put Alcaraz at 11 a.m. or you're not going to put Nadal at 11 a.m. But come on. It's not fair to these guys.
What about just taking Med minus games and live betting Bublik after, I don't know, game 4? Same as today, I guess. I don't know. You just take Med minus games and then Bublik plus games after, if that's really, if you feel very strongly. And
he was playing Shelton today, so I was more also fading Shelton in a way, right? With that play. I'm not really fading Medvedev here.
But it is interesting. That's a good point, Tony, because if Bublik goes down 3-1 or 4-0, does a lot of times if that happens, you'll see the line, the live line get pretty crazy.
Over adjust.
Bublik would be the one guy where you might he might come back and recover, but then again he might not. It's Bublik. Bublik's just so tough to bet. You just don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. It's how motivated and interested is he too.
Well, that's why he's so hard to bet, right? That's what it is. How interested is he? I kind of like I like laying the 4.5. But also could be something like Bublik knows he's gotten his butt kicked by Medvedev 5 times. If he's down, he could just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a good point.
It's kind of what I think's gonna happen.
You guys are talking me into it.
Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta run to the bathroom and grab coffee. Give me 2
Okay.
minutes. Okay.
That's good. Let's yeah. All right, welcome
So
back
one
to
thing
the
I wanted
show.
to mention about the Bublik match, the five guys who I mentioned, prior to the Shelton match, Bublik's last 5 matches in ATP tournaments, he had been on clay, he had been breadstick or bagel in the first set. Those 5 guys were Ruud, all 5 times. Like that's 5 pretty standard pros who are breadsticking and bageling Bublik. I just think at 9-1, man, like there's a chance that Medvedev just runs away with this.
Wait, we lost you there while you were repeating the names. Who were they?
So RCB, Baena,
Okay.
Koric, Julio Zaperi, Yaron, and Ruud. Like Ruud, I get, but the other 4, like those aren't like,
Yeah.
Again, like if you're giving me 9-1 on Bublik not to be motivated, I don't know, man. Like you give me some worse bets than that.
I like that bet. Yeah, I think that's a good bet. That has to be plus EV.
Just the way you said that, Bron, it was great. Like happy plus EV.
I mean, 9-1. Does
So
that happen 10%
nonchalant,
of the
yeah.
time?
Yeah.
No, that happens more than 10% of the time. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, the only, I guess, like counter argument I would have against that is that it's not the first round of he's 3 matches in, so you would expect he's going to be motivated.
Well, with
I
Bublik,
just
you can't expect anything.
Well, I think it's different though than him coming, flying 500 miles into a 250 for the first round. Like this is way different, right? Like
That's true. Yeah.
But you have a point. Like he still could show up and just be pissed off that it's 11 a.m. or whatever, and he's got to play Medvedev, who's was ready to torture you, and just says screw this.
I mean, Bublik could eat the racket. Like 9-1 on Bublik to eat the tennis racket during the match might not be a bad bet. Like,
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
got. I mean, he gets 9-1 is crazy. That is going to happen more than that.
Yeah, yeah. I just love that angle, like just playing the 6-love and the 6-1, and yeah, it's a really fun way to attack this match. On the set 1. All right, let's move on to the next one. Hubie Hurkacz and Taylor Fritz. So Hubie is a 1-game dog, even money on the money line, and the over-under is a whopping 25.5.
well, these guys have played 6 sets head-to-head, and 3 of them have gone to tie breaks. So, like, that's why. Like, I actually think that's the right. Like, I was hoping to go over on like a 24, but 25.5 is a big over-under, man. Like, you need 2 tie breaks, or you need on what's been a little bit of a slower clay than previous years. I mean, it's altitude, but it's not like, it certainly seems like, and I was really hoping the market would put this like a 23. I mean, I was praying for a 23 here. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. I was praying for a 23 over under that you could attack. 25.5 is
you were never going to get 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 25.5 is high. And then I don't know, man. Like I was hoping to get Fritz at plus money, but that's not happening either here. I think this is probably pretty close. I mean, I'd probably lean Fritz. There might be a smidge of value on Fritz, but I'm probably not going to play. I can't find an angle here. Like there's just not like, I mean, the over-under is comical. Like look at the over-under 10.5 games in the first set. Like plus 120,
I was looking
you never see that.
And I was like, I was leaning on playing the under 10.5. Because there is that chance that, someone gets broken and wins a 6-4 set. Like, I don't know, minus 155 for that happening is pretty good. Like, I think it's almost like an overreaction or an overcorrection.
They've played 6 sets head-to-head. 4 of them have gone over the 10.5.
Okay. I mean, I don't think I'm going to play it, but, like, I don't know. I would lean the under there if you're just, like, giving me that line. For me, I'm playing the Hubie money line at even money. Like for me, this is whoever is the dog in this match is the guy I'm gonna play. Because I don't know, I don't think neither guy really has the edge. I think Hubie has a better serve. I kind of trust him in terms of just making more balls. You know, I think he's a slightly better mover on this surface. So like I thought that this line should have been flip-flopped, honestly. Like I thought Hubie should have been minus 120 and Fritz should have been even money.
Piranha's gonna bring it up, but I think the stats favor Fritz here. Food for thought.
Okay. All right, let's see what the stats say.
Yeah, this was one match I did look at, and I'm on Fritz here. I do like Fritz. Let me see what the stats are. Okay, so I'll just do so last month there's actually a pretty good sample size here. So Hubie's played 9 matches, averaged 2.3 game favorite. He's at 106.5 hold plus break. Fritz 7 matches. He's been an average 2.2 game favorite. He is at 108 hold plus break. Let me just look at I have also service and return point one. So last month Fritz is at 108.5. Hubie is at 105.7. That's just percentage of service points and return points added together. I know that that's something Sean Calvert looks at. I'm not very familiar with like how to interpret that stat other than 108 is better than 105, but I don't I haven't thought a lot about it, but anyway.
Well, 100 would be the median, right? Because that'd be 50-50.
Exactly. Yeah. But
so I looked at this. I actually looked at both these guys on clay. The same stat, the same service points, 1 return points, 1 stat for going back to 23. Just get an even bigger sample. Fritz in 24 matches, 108.5.
Yep.
Hubie in pull it up. I got it here. In 19 matches, 102.4. So pretty big edge for Fritz if you look at the last year and a half, of clay data. I don't know that either of these guys are any different. Like Prano, you and I have talked about this before. Like a lot of guys are significantly different year to year. I don't know that either of these guys have really changed much in the past year or even 2 years, to be honest.
Yeah, Fritz, I have the identical numbers for Hubie for the last year. I think you did 2 years. And then Fritz, I have at 109.5 for this year's 16 matches. So they're both about the same. I agree with you though. Yeah, these are 2 guys are pretty steady. They don't do there's not a lot. I think Fritz was trying to add some variety to his game. I don't know if he stuck with it or not.
I don't feel like he really has. I mean, look,
really.
he strikes the ball so well. It's almost like why, like,
Yeah.
It's tough because like for him, like he's got to do it if he wants to win slams. But like, I don't know that that's a realistic expectation. But if you're him, like, where do you go besides trying to get to number 1 and win slams? Like, is continuing to waddle around the top 10 exciting? I don't know. It's a great career and he's making millions, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe does he want the thrill of trying to reach number 1? But
I credit Fritz for how focused he is on his tennis career. Like unlike some of the other Americans like Tiafoe, like he's fully focused on his tennis career. Like he's all in.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just saying like what is his goal? Because if the goal is to make number 1 or to win slams, he's probably got to take some steps backward in order to move forward. But is he willing to do that?
I mean, he also needs some luck. Like he needs Sinner to get injured and like an Alcaraz.
No, but he's allowed to get better. The point is he would have to get like significantly better, and in order to do that, he'd have to give. Yeah. I think he'd have to like give up in the short term, and like try to like learn some new tricks. Because like I don't think like his just like moving side to side and hitting big forehands and backhands is going to be good enough against these top guys.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like he has almost no chance against an Alcaraz or Sinner. I feel like Hubie does have a chance, maybe not on clay, but
his serve is better.
Yeah, so I do feel like Hubie could beat those guys. I feel like Fritz has no chance against those guys.
I mean, if you remember the Hubie match against Djokovic at Wimbledon, I think that was like what would show you that Hubie has a chance against anybody. Like that was a good Novak, and like Hubie
should have beat Alcaraz in Cincinnati. Remember that he missed a forehand on match point. I think it was a forehand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's an easy forehand. It was like from the front
yeah,
of the court.
very
Yeah.
makeable, very
Yeah.
makeable. Yeah. Yeah, he's tough, but Fritz has the better numbers. So yeah, I'm on Fritz here, just with exactly
Okay.
what you were pointing out there. His longer term's much better, his shorter term, everything is better. Everything points to Fritz for me, but yeah, we'll see. I mean,
But there is the altitude. Now, I don't think Hubie's
yeah,
been that. I think he's been okay. I think he's maybe made a quarters here in his career, Hubie.
but how did he
But
get
I don't.
broken
It was a
three
few years
times
back, I
last match?
think. What?
Like if you ever wanted a gauge of the speed of a court, if Hubie got broken 3 times, like it can't be that
It can't be
fast,
that
right?
fast. Yeah, that's the
Like,
problem, right? You're absolutely right. Like, and by Altmaier, it's not like he got broken 3 times by like Sinner. It was I mean,
yeah,
Altmaier's a good
Yeah.
returner, but he's just another guy.
I don't know. Maybe it was a fluke. I mean, I just didn't see it, but you'd never see Hubie get broken like 3 times,
Yeah.
not in 2 sets like that. I mean,
Especially not by
not-
Dan Altmaier.
yeah,
Like Danny
not by
Altmaier,
him.
like he's not bad, but he's like not like he is just another guy. Like
Yeah, yeah. I'll be on Fritz, so we'll be opposite on that one.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah,
I think I'm
leaning
gonna tell you
Hubie.
on that one, Tony. I've been flirting
Really?
with Fritz, because I do think there's like a smidge of value there, but like if this got to like minus 140, I think the value would be gone. I don't think there's like I was hoping to get better value, but I think I think this should maybe be like plus minus 140 plus 115 or something. I think there's a little value on Fritz, but not much. So I guess I'll hit it. I don't have
Yeah.
that many plays for tomorrow, so I guess I'll hit it.
I don't like the games. I wouldn't take Fritz -0.5 or -1, whatever he
No,
is. I
definitely
don't
not.
think they price Hubie games correctly. Like I don't think
No.
they I, yeah. I mean, you can see with the over-unders, he's going over 65% of the matches. So
Well, if Hubie loses one set 6-4, you're done. You know, like if Hubie
you're
wins
saying
one set
Fritz?
6-4, yeah, and you lay the one game with Fritz,
Yeah.
like at 10 cents difference, it's better to just play the money line at that point, you know? Like I
Yeah,
would,
Well, it's
just
also just the VIG, right? Like one is minus 120 versus an even money, and the other was minus 120 and
yeah,
minus 110.
right.
So for like one game, I don't really think you want to get involved with the spread here.
not on a Hubie
Yeah.
match either, because they're
Yeah.
clearly not valuing his matches correctly. I mean, if he's going over 65% of the time, which he is over 100 and something matches, or maybe it's 63% now, they're
Yeah.
not valuing that. That means the game should be worth more.
The only
right?
the only thing I would challenge that with Piranha is like I think he's gone over 2.5 sets, like over 50% of the time, which is insane. It just like doesn't make any mathematical sense in any world.
Yeah.
And so like how if you're pricing like a 3-set line, like how could you ever price a 3-set line at negative money?
Well,
It
that
just
would
wouldn't
make
make mathematical sense. Like if every set is a coin flip, it's 50-50.
Yeah, but it makes sense you would have chances. I mean, if you're coin flipping a guy as good as Hubie, like it would make sense you'd be going to more third sets.
More
than a
third
norm.
sets, but not more than half the time. Like it still would be under half the time. Like
Right.
so like a guy's gonna be injured, sick, blah, 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 at least some small percentage of the time and lose because of that. And at
Well,
best in a match, if you're coin flipping, it's 50-50.
Well, the thing is, like, he can be like a 3-1 favorite, and there's still like a very good chance that the set's going to be very close or go to a tiebreak in the second set. So it's not like a normal minus 300 at the beginning of the second set. Like the odds of it, of the dog winning that set, they're different with Hubie. Like I don't know, I don't know a good way to explain it, but um, it's that fact that it is, let's say it's a coin flip to get to a third set a lot with him, and then you're going to get a lot of those, 2 tie break or 7-6, 7-5 or a 7-6, 6-4 when he does win in straight sets. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't argue with I mean, to go over 65% of the time at 100 plus matches like that. That's not luck. Like they're
No, the sample is insane, but
Yeah.
there's also some insane stuff. My counterpoint was that like it's insane for any player to go over 2.5 sets in like any significant sample at all. It's just insane. Like
That is insane. Yeah.
I feel like he tends to play worse in the second set. Like I feel like he goes 3 sets more often when he wins the first set. I don't have the numbers to back me up there, but that's what it feels like. Like it feels like after he wins that first set, he dips a little bit mentally. No?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's
I don't
something.
know.
It's insane. Like the only thing I'll say is it's insane. Like
But
the over. To your point, Tony, it's such an insane sample, but there's also just like insane stuff behind it. It's almost like, yeah.
The other thing,
The more you guys talk about this, like I think I'm just gonna play the over 2.5 sets at plus 120 because that's the plus money line here. Like, and I think that these guys are super even. Like, I get your point in taking Fritz, but like still like the fact that Hubie is a slight dog here, like makes me want to go that way. So I'm just gonna go the 3-set line.
I still am waiting for the books. They should have a line Hubie to win in a third set tiebreaker. I would be all over that. Like that, they should have that line. I would love to see that and see what
Here's
the
the
odds would be.
fascinating thing, though. Actually, is Hubie like for tie breaks, he doesn't win as high a percentage as you would think. I think he only wins like a little over half. Like
Yeah.
it's not like he's winning like 60% of tie breaks. Like the automatic assumption and Tidbits, John Reed, Tidbits Tennis, another really good handicapper to listen to and follow their pod. He's brought this up. It's not like you would think that because he plays so many tie breaks, Hubie, that he would win a very high percentage, but he doesn't. Like he loses. Like yeah, he's not that much better than the average. He just plays a lot of them. He's not necessarily particularly good at them.
He's an enigma. He's just such a unique. You just look at his lines; they're so unique. You know, he's like a 3-game favorite, and he's like minus 350.
His
or
game
minus
is also
400.
such an enigma because like he's got like the most bland like he's got a
Yeah.
massive serve combined with the most bland baseline game ever, except when he decides to try like some ridiculous trick shot that he
Yeah,
loves.
he's
His
good trick shot artist.
like it doesn't make any sense if you put the three together. Like
Yeah.
there's just like most of your trick shot guys are like your Bubliks, but like Hubie's like fully locked in, just gonna like dink the ball back basically like 95% of the time until it's time to try a trick shot. And he's gonna like go for some crazy trick shot. Like
So if Hubie was playing Bublik, what would you put the line at? Just theoretically. In Madrid.
I think I'd favor Hubie just because like Bublik would be more liable to double fault away a game.
I would make QB like minus almost 200. I think QB's
Okay.
a big favorite against Bublik.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a Bublik fan. You just can't discount the number of times. I don't want to go back on him, but I mean, he just throws away matches. Like,
Yeah.
so you can't do that. Like
That's some
so-
coaching right there, Tony.
I mean, but just with like the betting wise, like you have to like that makes a huge difference
Makes a
long
huge
term.
difference in your win rate. Yeah.
Yeah, so that has to go into those prices. Hubie's like the exact opposite. He doesn't like Hubie doesn't give you an inch. He fights.
Yeah, he doesn't throw away. He competes.
No, he's actually a good guy to bet on because like
He's tough.
he's gonna show up. He doesn't like you got to give him credit. He either doesn't get hurt or doesn't show it. Like even
plays
when
his game.
struggling, he battles. Like a lot of these guys on the tour have issues where like they just like have issues, but like Hubie doesn't. Like he doesn't have physical issues. Like I've seen him he was sick against I think Draper at the U.S. Open and got squashed. But like outside of that, I don't know that I've ever seen him like just like have a match.
A little bit against
Monfils
in Indian Wells. That was a weird match, but like other than that, yeah.
No, his fitness. Do you know how many matches Hubie? I think he's played the most matches on tour in the last year. His fitness is insane.
Well, he plays like every week, and he goes deep like in all these 250s, like in 500, especially once he gets
and
hard
playing
courts.
3 sets, and then he can go like back to back 3 sets. And, like there's no issue. It's crazy.
He's on every day. I feel like every day Hubie's like playing a match like 365 days a year. It feels like.
Yeah.
There's a Hubie
all right.
match.
So you guys are on the Fritz money line, and I'm on the 3-set line.
Yeah, I'll take the Fritz money line at minus 120.
I'm good.
It's not a multi-unit play, but I'll play it.
Okay. You're not on 3 sets though?
I think 3 sets is okay. It's just plus 120 is like it's plus money, but like that's got to hit like 46% of the time or something is the break-even percentage. I'm guessing there you got to hit, and like if it was plus 130, I'd be all over. But like the books have slightly adjusted because like there's almost nobody else on tour that you'll see like a third set be like 3 sets be plus 120 or plus 115. Like usually it's 130 or at least 125.
But honestly, if I'm picking the best line here, I'm still prefer that than picking a side here. Like I really don't have any idea what the edge should be. Like I think it should be -110, -110, like pure pick 'em.
So in that case, man, I think you're right. I think we just disagree. I mean, it's based on the
Okay.
stats, like Fritz's stats are so much better.
I'd rather take the games if I was playing Hubie. Again, I think they are
Take the one
undervaluing.
game.
Maybe in this particular, oh, that is one other thing I wanted to say. The total was 25.5. That's essentially the same as a 24 total. Like
Right.
like the odds of a match going 7-5, 7-5. I don't know exactly, but it's I think less than 1%. I think it's less than
Yeah.
Well,
like
this is
half a
7.5,
percent.
7.6, right? So it's small. Yeah.
So like 24 and 25.5 are almost the same thing. It's very, 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 very small. You can
But
look
the
at the
fact
pin.
that 25.5 or 24, whatever it is -110, and then like 3 sets is like what 2 cents is
But
plus
that means,
points.
so the break even percentage there that you're talking about, man, is like, I'm doing the math roughly in my head on the fly, but it's like 52% versus 46%. Like all the book is saying, all that line is telling you is that there's a 6% chance of a 7-6, 7-6. That's
Yeah.
probably not false. Like these guys are going to play a tiebreak a high percentage of the time.
Yeah, but when you have an over 25.5, like there is a chance of a 3-set under. I'm not in this matchup, it's 99% chance it's
I
not.
mean, it's 90. I think it's like 99% in a normal match. Like in this
Yeah, but
match,
still,
it's like
I mean, at
99.
that high of a
Like
number, like that is a possibility, right? It could happen. So, like, I think you're just getting better value with the 3-set, even at +120.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of tie breaks here. There's a lot of tie breaks in this matchup.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Again,
don't
like I
know.
said, like six career sets between these guys. 3 of them have gone to a tiebreak, I think.
But 3 of
So
them have not.
yeah, that means a 50-50. I mean, if yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Look, if there's a 1 out of 3, like basically it's saying like, is there a 1 out of 3 chance of a set here going to a tiebreak between these guys? It's probably pretty close to. I think they're pretty much the same.
Okay. All right, next match. Francisco Cerundolo against Sasha Zverev. Cerundolo is a 4-game dog, +350 on the money line. Zverev is -450, and the over-under is 21.5. This is probably for me the hardest match to cap and really have like a true opinion on, like especially with this line. It seems on first glance a stay away to me, but like I was wondering if one of you could like talk me into something.
I'll let Brad go first. I'm catching up on this one, so let me look at what I got.
So my thought here is I was looking at, and again, I don't know if this is a good thing to look at or not, but I was looking at Zverev here, at this event in particular,
Mhm.
and I think like since he was ranked in the top 50 in the world, he's never lost to a guy outside the top 10. I'm pulling it up right now. But his record here is like pretty ridiculous. Like in terms of overall,
Pretty
like he's
good,
had a
yeah.
couple of early exits, but it's because of getting hurt and then having a lower ranking. So Zverev since 2017 here at this tournament. Or actually, we can just go create this tournament. His losses are in 2017, before he was like true Zverev. He lost to Pablo Cuevas in 3 sets.
Mhm.
He lost to Tsitsipas in a quarter in 3 sets in 2019. And then he's got 2 times he got beat down by Alcaraz his last, in the past couple of years. But that's it in terms of losses. Overall, he's 21-4. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I'm looking at another thing here real quick here.
I think he said it's his favorite Masters 1000.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, based on the fact that he's won it twice. Against guys outside the top 10, he's 13-1, and he's lost a set 4 times, including last year he lost the first set to Baena, and I don't think that was full Zverev yet. He was still kind of coming back off that injury.
Right.
He lost a set to Cilic here in 22, lost a set to Hubie in 2019, and then he had the loss to Cuevas. But Cerundolo's not bad on clay. Like, just in terms of the 2 players and the gap between the 2 players, I think this line is pretty right. Like, I had this at 4.5, which the book is basically saying 4.25, and like, there's probably no in this case, there's probably no value on trying to lay the floor at -130. But Zverev's been so good here. I'm tempted to back Zverev here just because he's been so good at this event. Like the money line could be a good play here too. Zverev loves to win ugly. I don't know, man. Like he's only got. I mean, I know it's -450. It's super heavily juiced, but like as a parlay piece, or just as a standalone, if you like playing -450 money lines, could be a look
I
here
do.
too.
That's me.
But you play the big juice
You
money?
know, I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to take the big money lines.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's probably plus EV. I mean, look, like I said, Zverev against guys outside the top 10 at this event in his career, 13-1.
Yeah, that's right at the point where I'll play is about a 400, 450. The vig gets a little crazy when you get higher than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, numbers wise, I'm actually going to be on Zverev here. I think it like very marginal play for me. It just made it from what I'm looking at. But let's see. So last month, Zverev has 6 matches. This is all year. He has 6 matches. He's at 116 hold plus break. He's been an average 4-game favorite in those 3.8 game favorite in those 6 matches. So he's been a big fave, but he's at 116. Last month for Cerundolo, 7 matches. He is at looks like 107 hold plus break. In those matches, he's been an average 1-game favorite. Cerundolo's also played 13 matches in the last 3 months, and he's at 104 hold plus break as a average 1.3 game favorite. So he's actually numbers are improving over the last month. At this tournament, he's 120 hold plus break as an average, basically a pick'em, and Zverev is at 130 as a 2 matches, 4-game favorite average. So obviously, as you'd expect, the numbers are clearly Zverev's favor here. Yeah, I have Zverev doing a little bit better than market expectation. Well, a lot better, and then Cerundolo doing better as well, but not quite as well as Zverev. I might take the games. If I knew, I wish I knew. It's a flip who's going to serve first. This may be one I actually live bet Zverev if he serves first. The
And
games.
Ruud doesn't have the best serve, right? So like Zverev is going to have looks to break here. So I think laying the games is like way better option than taking the sets, for example. The problem is that like Zverev likes to win ugly. Like he tends to, drop games unnecessarily. Like even the Chapo match, like it got more complicated than it really should have. Like that always makes me scared.
Yeah,
he's
another
down.
thing I do want to point out here is
Swinging.
Cerundolo is it looks like he's finally starting to get some kind of form back.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of laughed about it. The food poisoning, is it real? Is it not? I have no idea. But for the first couple months of the year, he was absolutely not at his normal form. I mean, I know it was hardcore, but he was losing to didn't he lose the match like Adam Walton or something, Manny?
Yeah. He was
Like
terrible.
he was like really, really outside of what you would expect from
Like
Cerundolo.
pure fate. Yeah.
Yeah, and he seems to have picked it up a little bit. I mean, I know Tommy Paul is not a good clay player, but that's not a bad win still. I know Marjan. I mean, like Marjan is a pure dogger pass. That's another decent win. I don't know. He seems to be playing better, certainly better than he was a month or two ago. But I don't know.
think now that I'm looking more at this, I think I am going to take the money line. So Zverev in the last year on clay, 26 matches, 24 of them as a favorite, you'd be up 8 units. If you had bet the spread on those 24 matches, you'd be down 2.7 units.
Zverev loves to
Cerun-
win quickly. I mean, we've seen it before. Like he tends to make matches more
Yeah,
complicated than they
goes
need
to
to
what
be.
you were saying. Yeah, he's been
And
in a
I would not want to lay games or sets, really. I mean, I think the games are better, but 4 is a lot, especially at altitude.
He
My
also
favorite line here, looking at these, is the Zverev over 12.5 at -125. That's where I'm gonna go here.
Not a bad look.
Yeah, it's not that juiced. It's still a little bit, but like, and I think Dolo, you know, if Shapo was able to get to 5 games, like I don't see why Dolo can't. You know, he has that big forehand. He can, you know, I think forehand to forehand exchanges really favor Dolo in this matchup. Backhand to backhand obviously favors Zverev, but like it just depends like which pattern of play is more prevalent in this matchup. So they've never played head to head. So I don't know. I think the over 12 and a half, like then you still get you still favor Zverev, right, in this match because I think he's gonna win, but it also like fits the narrative that Zverev likes to make matches complicated. So that's where I'm going.
I think it's either that or the money line, but I think I think those are the two options in my mind. I agree with you guys. There's no way I want to actually lay anything like significant against Zverev because it's just too much of a chance for him to win ugly. But
Yeah,
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
over 1.5. Cerundolo is also going to compete, right? He's a good competitor. Like you got two
Yes.
shots to get to 5 games in a set.
Right. All right. So Tony, you're playing the Zverev money line minus 450.
I'll have the heart attack medication out, and yep, I'll be on. Yeah, I think Pinnacle's 420 right now, so I'll be on.
I work in
Probably
the
be on about
pharmacy. I can
420.
hook you up if you need it.
I'm gonna need it if I probably will intentionally not watch that match.
All right. All right. Next matchup. Only money line is up, but that's okay. Sinner and Kachanov. Sinner is a minus 500 favorite. Kachanov is plus 375. What are your thoughts here?
So the ATP main ATP tour page says that Zverev won despite hip discomfort.
Ooh.
That seems bad.
Oh,
Like
geez.
anytime there's any injury news on Yannick Sinner, I just like flag it as like this is incredibly bad.
Oh wait, it was
Um,
Sinner.
Oh,
Sinner
Sinner
has.
went. Not you
Yeah.
said Zverev.
No, Sinner. Yes,
Okay,
Sinner.
Oh,
Sinner.
Sinner.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See, that
Sinner
Okay.
would
wins with
explain
hip
going to
like.
5 games with Pavel Kot, you know, letting Pavel Kotov have 5 games in this.
Well, again, like if you go to the ATP main tour website, I think the first headline is or second headline is maybe they've taken it down now, but it was Sinner overcomes hip discomfort to advance.
Yeah, I just saw a tweet. Sinner is a bit concerned with his hip, doesn't confirm he will play tomorrow, says he will decide what's best. This is from Jose Morgado. I don't know if you guys follow
No,
him.
Jose Morgado is good. That's a good
Yeah,
source.
That's a good
That's a good
source.
yeah,
source.
yeah. So he may
Shout
not
out to
even.
Jose. I feel like we have to do host shout outs anytime we get, somebody who's good on
Yeah,
Twitter.
he's
But
good. Very good.
yeah.
So he might not even play, it looks like. Jeez. I didn't hear anything about that.
That's actually probably good for my futures. I did kind of a goofy thing. I played it's the one time I'd actually want one of my bets to lose. I have a bet on Sinner to win the quarter at minus 135 and then Ruud at 375 as a hedge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't actually mind Sinner getting hurt and just letting Ruud have a clean path at 375 to win the quarter.
I'm surprised Sinner even finished the match. I mean, he usually. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
he's
he
not the
does.
best at like pain tolerance.
No, seems like there's. I guess he does finish with. I don't know if he's injured or what, but he's another one that's always got
I mean,
something
if you've
wrong.
got a book, man, 375 on Kachanov here. Kachanov's one of the toughest players on tour. 375 on Kachanov seems pretty good. I mean, if
Yeah, but
you get a book with that pays out a retirement after the first set, like
Yeah,
you just got to get him through a set. That
the
seems like
problem is that like we don't really know the extent of this injury, and if like Sinner is like somewhat okay, this is a terrible matchup for
you know
Kachanov.
what? Timeout. Yeah, go the other way with it. This is a live betting match, isn't it, guys? This is
Yeah,
a match where you watch the first 2 games and then you live bet it because like
agreed.
there's a pretty good chance Kachanov. I mean, he's a good ATP Tour player. There's a pretty good chance he holds the first game. If Sinner looks like if Sinner, and there's Sinner's also obviously a very good tennis player. There's a decent chance even if he's slightly hurt, he holds the first game. If this gets like 1-1, the line's probably not flying too far in one direction or the other. You could watch 2 games, see how the guys look, especially
Yeah,
Sinner,
totally
and then
agree.
make your choice.
Totally agree.
sure. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because otherwise, this line looks pretty fair to me. I mean, like I said, Kachanov, he's not playing really particularly well this year. Actually, he's playing worse than he has in a while. But and then the stats may totally different, but that's just from watching him. It seems like he's, I don't know. It's
I
been a
mean,
lot tougher for him than
I
previous
tend to
years.
disagree actually. Like both guys in full fitness, I would lean Sinner laying the games because like this line should probably infers it would be what like 3.5.
No, four and a
No?
half to 5 with this
4.5
line. I mean, what do you think,
to
Rob? 4.5? Once the game spread comes out with this line, 4.5?
For center, he's yeah, he's 4.5. He's 4 minus
4.5.
138 or 4.5 minus
Okay.
102.
All right.
This is
Yeah.
on Pinnacle. So
Yeah,
four
that
and a
makes
half.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 4.5 basically.
Yeah,
Like,
that's probably the right line if he's healthy.
yeah, I guess what you said, if you like Sinner, the games would be the way to go. Obviously, you don't want to lose on a retirement. If you like Hashanov, like you definitely should be betting a book that grades retirements as a win.
For
So
sure.
that
I
would
don't know.
be
I
the
feel like
biggest
maybe
thing there.
then, I mean, because the problem here too is like now that you got to factor in is like, is this line gonna move? Like with the injury news, is this line gonna move between now and like,
Honestly, if the injury is like somewhat there, he's just not going to play. Like Sinner is not one that like fights through it.
Yeah, I don't
He
think
just
so
called it.
either. Feel
yeah.
like he'll just retire. When is the last time he retired, actually? I mean, I know he's always grasping at
I mean,
things,
he's
but
pulled out before matches all the time.
yeah. So yeah. So it's probably more likely he just pulls out before the match
I
if
wish I could
it's
bet on that. I would play that at plus what 250.
Yeah, I mean, the last time Sinner pulled out of a match, he pulled out against Demonor at Paris Masters. Pulled out against, actually, no, I'm trying to looking back.
was
Not a ton
thinking
of examples of it, honestly. I feel like it used to be a lot worse. Pulled out of Barcelona, pulled out of Marseille last year. So that's three pullouts in a year. That's quite a few actually. Most guys,
It's a
honestly,
lot.
more than one is a lot of pullouts. We talked about this in the past. Like 3 pullouts of tournaments
He
is
did it against Rublev,
not
I think, at
ideal.
the French Open one year, and
If I was
then
in retirement at one set all, that's
okay.
yeah, it was
He did
like
it in
one set all
Miami
2-0.
too at one point.
What?
Like there are a lot of pullouts. He's not
Oh
one
no,
that
but I mean,
fights
prior
through
to
things.
2023, yes. The question is this a new Yannick Sinner?
He didn't really fight through the injury bug in Monte Carlo very well.
But he did fight through it.
Yeah, but he was in the middle of the match, and that's when he faced the injury. Like he's not a guy that's going to have like a little niggle and pain and fight through it to start the match because it's just going to get worse. I have no
Yeah,
confidence with Sinner still with the physicality. Like he's not a guy that.
that's. I mean, the question isn't do we believe that he's going to like fight through and win. The question is he going to show up on the court?
Yeah, right. I love your take there with the live betting. I think that's the best way to
yeah, it's a
act
good
this match.
way to approach it.
Very good way to approach it. I'm not going to hit anything here because I don't know. Kachanov, like he's terrible against top 10 guys, and there's a reason for that, right? Like he's very solid, he's very consistent, but he doesn't have that extra oomph in his game that's going to like, you know, trouble a guy with bigger weapons and
Yeah, he's 13 and 49 in his
strokes.
career versus the top 10.
It's
And that
pretty
includes
poor.
that magical run at Paris Masters when he was
Exactly.
like played like the week of his life.
Right. And that was in 18?
Yeah, and I think
How was
he
that?
won like he played like he had a ridiculous week. He beat like yeah. He had a
Yeah, I was
ridiculous draw
there.
and he
He
still won the
beat
tournament.
Zverev, he beat Dimitrov, he beat I think Team. I mean, like it was an insane week. So yeah.
We could probably want the next
All right,
match.
let's move on.
I was going to throw some
Ooh.
numbers at you, but I guess you don't really need them with Sinner. Yeah, I mean, you just know
Yeah.
his numbers are going to be insane.
Right.
What are his numbers? You may as well go ahead and say them because it's cool to marvel at them. Like
Well, this tournament he's at 142 hold plus break. Last month he's at 135. Last on the year he's at 119. Hashanov's very steady. He's 105 on the year. He's looks like 111 for this tournament and then 105 for the last month, 3 months. One thing I was going to say is Hashanov actually 14 matches. He is I'm sorry, 6 matches as a dog in the last year on clay. He's up 3 units if you bet the spread. Sinner, the other thing I mentioned this last time, they're really pricing him up. He's got 11 matches on clay now this year. You'd be down a half unit betting the spread every time. So they're
Well,
pricing
I
him.
actually bet Kotov today plus the 6.5 games.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
But the
Good
point
bet.
is,
Yeah.
the point is like it was 6.5, which is an insane spread against like, and Kotov's a legitimate ATP player. Like that spread of 6.5 is insane. There's got to be something to this, right? Like I mean, like regardless of what the markets are doing, bookmakers they have to like with these top guys who they know are big names that people are going to put into parlays and bet on just instinctively. They must like put the vig on those guys, right? I mean, do either of you guys know about anything about that? Like, it just feels like intuitive that they would have to do that in order to like to protect their risk, right? Because like all the money's going to go onto Sinner in those kinds of matches. Like nobody's betting Kotov.
Yeah, it's a good question. I can tell you in general, the market like religiously bets underdogs. And you can see that if, everyone you follow on Twitter, they never bet a favorite. Like without fail, every handicapper just bets, which is insanity. It's utter
Well, that's why you
insanity.
like us, right? Because we also bet favorites.
I mean, it's just, I don't even want to go on a rant about this, but like, how can you say you are a sports bettor? And no, I'm just going to ignore half the potential bets. I'm never going to bet half of the bets and only look at these half. Like, I
And there are
told
some
Manny,
pretty good guys. Like Sean Calvert basically does that, and he's like a pretty like well-known, respected dude.
yeah, he'll bet some small. I guess everybody does. They do bet small favorites, but I mean,
No, you know
I
what it is?
told, it's
That's
just,
just a matter of it's the same thing as you, Manny. It's just like what gets you excited. Like a lot of people just don't get
Right.
excited about betting a minus 300.
well, it's the pain too, I think, of losing. Like
Yeah.
it is
And
very, I bet up to sometimes 5-1 favorite. It's hard when you lose those. It sucked losing Shelton today, 2.5-1 or 2.3-1, whatever.
yeah.
But what was I going to say? So, I kind of lost track. Oh, in regard to the market so religiously bets underdogs that the books they overprice the underdogs. If you were to bet every single favorite this year blindly, you would be up money, whether it's the money line or the spread. And last year was very close. So essentially, you're playing vig free if you take a favorite, and you're paying double vig if you take a dog. And that's designed. The bookmaker. Now, to your point, are they doing that with Sinner and Alcaraz? They could be doing the opposite. I don't know. I've never looked at
I
that.
could see them doing the opposite with like your top couple guys, right? Like the
Very
guys who
well
they know
could
that
be.
people are gonna bet on. Because I feel like if you're just a casual, right, you know who Yannick Sinner. If you're a casual tennis fan, you know who Yannick Sinner is probably.
You're going to
Yeah.
put them in parlays, like you said. Like all the recreational bettors are going to do that.
Yeah.
They do that. I see it all the time on forums
Yep.
and things.
I mean, you laid the 6.5 right today with Sinner against Kotov, Tony.
Oh, I had I actually took under 18. I think
Okay.
I had put 6.5 in my bet stamp, but my actual bet on that ended up being under 18, which I lost. But yeah, I forget what my reasoning was. I think it was because I thought Sinner was going to serve first.
Yeah, he usually does.
No, I just like Sinner there. I just thought Sinner was going to steamroll.
Okay. I just wanted some action in the late match, so it was like just a last minute bet. I laid the 6.5 and then parlayed that with the Kachina money line.
Yeah.
And that was like plus 150. But I mean, after Sinner won the first 6-2, I was like, excited. But then like I guess
Yeah,
the
big,
hip
huge
started
favorite.
acting up, and
Was he serving first? Did he serve first? He must have served first in that match.
second. Or maybe
Yeah,
he broke maybe
he
broke
did serve
one set.
first, and then he broke him. He broke him to end the set, so he served first again second set. So yeah, you were a big favorite. I mean, if he was injured, that's kind of a bad beat if you're on center games or center under like I
That is
was.
true. That is true. I guess I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I should be counting my lucky stars that my plus 6.5 came in.
Who knows though? Sinner's always got something wrong with him. You just never know.
Yeah, it's true. And I
Boy,
think
it could
Just
have cried
my
wolf.
point is just in general, like 6.5 against a legitimate ATP tour player. That's a lot of games.
It's Sinner though.
Like usually you'll see those games against like challenger level guys. Like Nadal
Yeah.
was like 7 against Darwin Blanche, who's like a 16-year-old who's like not a pro player.
That's true.
Yeah. Did you lay the
Anyways,
games
on to
there,
the next
Brad?
match. What?
Did you lay the games there?
No, I didn't play it. I
No, you
just
didn't
like
play it.
I was
Yeah.
just like, this is too much. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I played that match either.
Yeah.
You passed it.
This I think is one of the matches of the day. I'm super excited for this match. Jan-Lennard Struff against Carlos Alcaraz. I mean, this is a super tough match, fourth round match for Alcaraz, I think. Plus 4.5 is the spread for Struff. Plus 400 on the money line, and the over under of 21.5. So these guys played in the final last year, and Struff took a set off him. And I think that was a way better Alcaraz at that moment. And I actually think that this is a better version of Struff. I was super impressed with what I saw with him in Munich, obviously, but then the way he's backed it up here, and like the way he played against Ugo Humbert was, I think, you said Rublev was impressive against Fokina. I thought Struff was at a totally different level than Rublev. Just blasting the ball for winners, just not making any errors. Like this altitude is definitely something he likes. And for me, this taking the 4.5 is a play of the day, and I'm probably going to sprinkle on the money line as well. And what's him to win a set here? Wow, plus 130. That I'm going to go there too. So yeah, probably going to play him to win a set at plus 130. That might be a 2 or 3 unit play for me. I'll probably also play the over 2.5 sets. It's nearing plus 200, which is crazy to me. So I'm all over Struff here.
I'm with you. I like Struff here.
Nice.
I'll be on the Struff games minimum, maybe the money line
Okay.
too.
I like
yeah.
any pro Struff line here.
Yeah, this looks like I wish he was serving first here. They both return. Yeah, I just throw some numbers at you. Struff last month, he's 9 matches now, and he's at 100 and almost 17 hold plus
Wow.
break, which is
Wow.
crazy.
That's crazy.
He's been in. Here's the craziest thing: those 9 matches, he's been an average 0.8 dog. So he's been an underdog. You'd be up to almost 12 units in those 9 matches betting on him.
well, Manny's probably at more than 12 units on Struff on those 9 matches.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I had the future 40-1.
Yeah,
Munich.
and you
Oh, that's right.
back him every match like on top of that. So
Yep.
I had Struff too. That actually, I went with Calvert on that. I would have never bet that on my own.
Struff's been a cash cow for me. But I just love the way he's playing. Like, not necessarily taking the numbers out of the picture, like just from the eye test, the way he's just hitting the ball is super impressive. And like,
It
I
was
don't
incredible.
think Alcaraz has been super impressive, to be honest. Like, to beat Sabalt Welch, and who did he beat in the first round?
Shevchenko, but he destroyed him. I mean, I don't know. Once you're beating a guy 3-3, like I'm not gonna like. I like if he beats Fridman 2-1, I'm still gonna say it's a good win. Like at some point, like beating a guy down by like 3-4 breaks is beating a guy by 3-4 breaks. Like,
okay, yeah, he was good against Shevchenko. But Struff is a different animal. Just like the way more aggressive, just way more weapons to hurt Alcaraz with. I mean, he took a set off him last year when I thought it was a worse version of Struff and a better version of Alcaraz. So if you like take that into account, and like the fact that it's a better version of Struff and a worse version of Alcaraz this time around, like I like him to win the match at plus 400.
Yeah,
Alcaraz has been pretty darn good the past. Miami, he was like, again, pretty darn good in those 2 tournaments. And it's hard to fault him too much for winning a match 6-3, 6-3, or 6-2, 6-1. I don't know. But I'm tempted. Like, honestly, I feel like there's a general trend, and I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a general trend of books opening Alcaraz shorter than where they close him. And I feel like people again, I feel like there's casual bettors that just hammer Alcaraz
Yeah,
at almost any price.
I agree with that.
So I'm kind of hoping this gets like a little bit further, maybe out. Like if it gets to 5, I'm all over Struff. I think this should be 4. I think the right spread here is 4.
See, I think it's 3.
But I'd like to get a little more gap to feel like I have a little more EV, and then maybe at like if it gets like, or even if it's like 4.5, a little less juice, like -110, I'd be a little more excited.
I forgot I
So
tracked
I'm
line.
close. I'm probably gonna hold off until I see like a little more
Okay.
until I see the market move a little more in this.
I have line movement data. I forgot I could have looked that up last match. So this is penny open to close. And when I say open, it's open meaning the first line I see, not like some
Yeah.
line that was up for $300 limit for 8 seconds. So Alcaraz has 17 matches in the last year. The line has moved against him an average of 0.14% in those 17 matches. This
Oh
tournament,
wow, okay.
this tournament, 2 matches, it's moved against them 1.33%. So this is Pinnacle,
Okay.
though. Every book is different. So that's way
Right.
different from, say,
Mhm.
DraftKings or
Any
Bodog,
other book,
or
right? Makes sense.
you would have
But
to. That's
there
something.
might
Yeah, I'd watch that if I were you. If you're, it's worth paying attention to.
But
no. I
do
think
the
there's
lines move? Do the lines move against him if he's playing like a guy who's less well known? Like, I understand if he's playing Djokovic or Sinner, then the line might move against him. But if he's playing someone that people don't really know, like casuals don't really know, I feel like the line would move in Alcaraz's favor just because people are hammering him.
But I
And
really
the
think you
thing,
said Fran, so I think this is they're very well. I mean, I might have to use a little quick like line shopping here because there very well could be something closer to a 5 out there, just if people are hammering Alcaraz, especially match time. Like, because you're
yeah,
right, different books would be different here, and I could see with how much money gets thrown on Alcaraz, I'm betting, like in either direction. I could see there being a little bit of arbitrage here.
I mean, Pinnacle is a very sharp book. I mean, their limits are very high. You can, I don't know what they are right before. You can bet, 5, 10,000 a match. So it's not, the
Yeah,
lines aren't going to get very out of whack there. Somebody's going to, put them back into place.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking at bet stamp right now. I see lines like anywhere from 525 up to about 600 on Alcaraz right now, depending on the book.
Okay.
And then Struff is from plus 375. I think the highest is 465, which is actually Pinnacle,
Okay.
which is,
So like at 465 with the penny price, that I would
yeah,
probably be on. Like that's probably high enough to get me excited. 400 is it's because I'm close to Struff here. Like this is close to my minimum buy point. 465, I'd probably be on him.
yeah, I'm probably going to bet that.
My favorite line in this match is Struff to win a set at plus 130. Like, that's the one I'm gonna really go after. And then I'm probably gonna sprinkle on the 3-set line and the Struff money line. But like, I don't know. I think at plus money for Struff to win a set, I think that's really good.
Like you said, anything pro Struff, I think is good here. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, his last match, like you said, I mean, he was put to the test in that match, and he
He
did not
was.
bud. Struff, I mean, he didn't budge. He played just super solid start to finish.
Yeah.
Who was he playing? I forget. I
Hugo
cannot.
Humbert.
Yeah, Humbert. That's right.
And I mean,
Yeah,
Humbert is not the best clay court player, but like he played
it was
pretty well. It's not
it
like
was a tough match. Yeah,
it is a tough match. And he
Struff
just
didn't.
like completely took the racket out of Humbert's hand. Like Humbert had no
Yeah,
chance. Especially as the match progressed. Like, one thing with Struff is that he's been kind of iffy in the first set, but as the match progresses, he just like picks up steam. It's been a common trend. Like, it was a common trend in the Rune match. Like, remember, he had break point at 2-all, and then he racked up like 10 straight games to win the match. Same thing with Fritz. Like, after Fritz had those set points and like Struff saved him, he
yeah,
just went on a run.
yeah.
On Bear too, like there was a rocky patch like late in that first set, and then he saved that, and then he just steamrolled him in the second. I know it was 6-4, but he got the early break, and then he just steamrolled him. So
What would concern me for Alcaraz is he hasn't really been tested. I don't know. I put a lot more stock in like watching the Med Quarter match or the Struff on Bear. Like that's much more impressive to me to watch a guy being put to the test and hold up and win than it is like I saw some of Alcaraz and Seaboth Wild. I mean, Carlos looked unbelievable. Of course, he made he played all these highlight reel points, and but at the end of the day, like what's going to happen when somebody really puts him to the test? That's what you want to know, and that's going to happen tomorrow. So we'll find out. But
Yeah. And Wild was in the first set, to be honest. Like he was just making error after error after error. Like Seaboth Welch is talented, but he's very mentally unstable too. Like Struff is very solid mentally. He's always there, competes really hard. Like he's not going to give an inch, So
Carlos, his
this is
only
going to be
other
a test.
clay tournament, he won 2 matches in straights and lost to Jari. Is that correct? I think that's
Yeah. Yep.
so. I mean, this looks like a similar spot to me. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to lose, but when you're getting 5-1, like it's too much. Struff's playing too good for that kind of price, and I don't. I mean, Alcaraz is not. He hasn't proven it yet. He's got to be put to the test, and he's gonna be. So we'll see.
Right. If you like the Struff, but you're kind of hesitant, what about the 3-set line? It's nearly plus 200. It's plus 185.
Yeah, it's close. I think that's similar to the thing is like with the way like Struff could play so good and actually 2-0 him. Like that's not out of the question here.
Sure.
But I guess I'll go back. Like we're talking about Alcaraz not having been tested, but that's just on clay, and he's been on clay for one tournament on Golden Swing, where I think it was his first tournament,
Yep.
on play of the year, and
Yep.
then this tournament, like there's like, but where I'm going with it is like, I mean, he beat Sinner in Indian Wells, so I'm not sure, like like that Sunshine Double. I'm not sure how much more he could have done to prove, like that. Like this is a good version of Alcaraz.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not expecting him. I don't know. I have to see it. I'm just not like what we were saying earlier. Like he destroys like Seaboth Wilch. I don't. It doesn't really mean that much to me. Like he should destroy him. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him, but I'm much more impressed with watching Medvedev beat Korda today. Like that gives me a lot more confidence going into that match. I still feel like there's unknown with Alcaraz. Like I really haven't learned anything from his first 2 matches. So I think we're gonna learn tomorrow, and maybe he beats him easy in straight sets, but maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Last year we had a body of work, right? He won Indian Wells, then he made semis in Miami, and then he won like Barcelona, and then came into this event.
The only thing that's missing is the Barcelona, right? Like he still won Indian Wells. I don't know.
He did lose to Jari, so I mean, I don't know. I treat every surface differently. I mean, obviously, we know Carlos isn't going to show up and play bad. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, this is a really good surface for Carlos. I think that has to be stated. Like, I think
he's also at home. For a guy who's a showman, this is his home tournament.
Is he going to get caught off guard, I guess is my question. That's what I'm kind of getting.
But I think
is he like too settled in with these easy matches, and he's got a guy that's absolutely on fire that's going to come out and play good? Is he just going to get caught off guard?
But if you talk about the home crowd, I think you have to talk more about, is his opponent going to be rattled by the fact that he's playing in his opponent's home crowd? And I don't think Struff is going to be rattled by that.
Well, I'm not worried about Struff getting rattled at all. If you're a Struff backer, that wouldn't matter to me. It would be Alcaraz getting, Alcaraz is a little bit of a showman. He likes the crowd. Like
that could play to his detriment. Where he tries to play too many trick shots and like go crazy and run down tons of balls. Like, I don't know. I think he needs his antennas need to be up in this match. So, all right, let's move on. FAA and Casper Ruud. FAA is plus 275. Ruud is minus 350. This probably what translates to a 3.5 game spread.
No, this is going to be 4.
4.
I'm betting. I mean, you can look on a book, but I'm guessing it's going to be 4.
Guys, I have to run to the bathroom again. I apologize. I drink a ton of
Okay.
coffee. You guys keep talking though. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm looking up Manny right now. Who is this? This is FA and Ruud, right?
Yeah.
So
all
Felix
Ruud here.
Felix plus 3.5 is plus 115. Plus 4.5 minus 186. So somewhere in that 4 range.
Okay.
Um
Probably
Yeah.
accurate, but I'm still
Oh,
tempted.
I don't. I'm all
Ruud.
over. I'm all over Ruud here. I think
Well,
this should be like
yeah.
5. Like FA. Like, are you impressed by FA beating Yoshi?
No.
Are
Monorino?
you impressed
No.
by him beating an injured Bensic? Are you impressed by him beating Manarino on clay, who was coming back from an injury that we
No.
saw in Miami?
No. I'm not
So like, then
impressed by
like
anything
what
FA.
like right? And Ruud is a top 5 clay quarter. Like, I'm not convinced that FAA is a top 80 clay quarter.
I'd agree with that. Okay.
This is a complete fraud run to the
It
fourth
is.
round.
It is.
Like, this is like he barely beat Yoshi, who's not a good clay court player.
So do you like what, Ruud under 12.5?
I'm probably just gonna lay games, either lay games or maybe the 2-0. What's the 2-0 here? The 2-0 should be up.
Minus 120.
Minus 115.
That's
That
pretty
seems
good.
pretty good.
I like that.
He should just drill FA, man. I'm FA. I think FA is a complete fraud. I know he's winning matches, but I think he's a complete fraud. He should have lost to Martyr. I'm still pissed that he beat Martyr in Munich. That was complete.
You're gonna
garbage.
use that for the
Martyr
rest
was
of the
like
year.
plus 4. I had the money line, and FA hit a line down match point on a forehand. It was
You're gonna use
garbage.
that martyr win for the rest of the year. Should have lost to
Martyr.
Martyr.
Look, I'm just gonna bitch about that. I'm gonna bitch like that will be a loss that I will be unhappy about for a long time. Like, I mean, I've had much worse losses too, but there's just something about that particular loss that just like that just makes me mad.
That was a brutal loss. For me, a Ruud 2-0 is a GBM candidate.
Yeah, it's a GBM play for me.
Okay. All
Did you
right.
guys see Felix today? I was wondering if anybody saw him play.
I didn't. It was
Mensick was
Mensick
hurt supposedly.
I did see John's Tidbits Tennis is he posted on his
Yeah.
personal account about it. But I believe someone said Felix came out pretty sharp. Anyway, yeah, I don't have any confidence in Felix
No.
intuitively. I could throw some stats at you. Ruud's stats are ridiculous. Start with Felix. Last month, Felix's stats are surprisingly good. So last month, 7 matches, he's at 111 hold plus break. You'd actually be up 1.6 units betting on him. Every money line against the spread, you'd be down 0.7 units. Ruud, he's played 36 matches on clay in the last year. He's at 114 hold plus break. Last month, he's played 15. He's at 110 roughly. I'm sorry, no, 120. Sorry, I'm adding these up in my head. 81.7 hold, 37.8 break. So he's at 120 basically over 15 matches. That's insane. Felix at 110. Those matches, he's been an average 3-game favorite for Ruud, and in Felix's matches, he's been an average 3.1 favorite. So they've played competition relative to themselves, 3 games worse, and Ruud's at 10 percentage points higher hold plus break. So yeah, it's got Ruud written all over it. Straight sets for Ruud, I would say, but I am going to be on Ruud in some fashion.
Okay.
I think another thing worth mentioning here, I'm looking at it, maybe not as exciting, but FAA on any outdoor surface since the beginning of 23. What?
I'm laughing because I know this is going to be bad. He's been horrific.
No, I mean it's not against the top 20, 2-6, but he's been straight setted 5 times. In his 2 wins, he beat Tommy Paul at Indian Wells, which is decent. But his other one was this win against Manarino, which is a complete fraud. I mean, that's not a top 20 win. Like it officially is, but it's not. So he's basically 1-6 and he's won a set in and he's won a set in 2 of the matches. I mean, I'm all over Ruud here.
Well, just from like a game perspective, not a numbers perspective, like Ruud is so much more explosive than FAA, right? Like
that's why FAA can't. I mean, yeah, he's got a chance on indoor hard now, FAA, but if he's outdoors, FAA is just not. I don't know. I mean, here's a question, and for we Tommy, or Tony, we were talking about this. We were talking about this while you were away getting a drink. Is FA even like where would you put FA on clay right now? Is he even top 80? Like, I'm not convinced he's even an ATP level player on clay, to be honest. Like,
what I can say, I'm not good with ranking. I really don't know the players that well outside the top 25. What I can say is if he plays the way that I've seen him play, like the last 10 times I've watched him, literally the last 10 times I've watched him, he has no chance. I'm weighting that against the fact that he destroyed a guy that was hurt today. Like, because I haven't seen any of Felix's matches this tournament, so
he's
maybe
had the biggest joke / cakewalk of a draw.
Okay, so unless he just drastically improved this tournament, I don't see how he has any chance.
Like, I wouldn't take any stock in his run. Like Manarino was probably the worst. I mean, he's probably not top 150 on clay, to be honest.
I mean, well, what's hilarious is I don't know if you guys saw the line, but a top 20 player was a 5.5 game dog against a guy who's right now, outside the top 20. Which to me is just like comically hilarious. Like, I've never seen that before, where a guy who was in the top 20 is a 5.5 game dog, and he's not playing like a top 5 guy. He's playing a guy who actually has a better ranking than him. Like,
it's insane. Yeah. And then who was his first round? Oh, Yoshi.
Yeah, who he won 6-4 against in the third.
Yeah, it went to the third. That's true. So that's even a knock against FAA on top of it. So
Yoshi's another clay fraud. I know he made the 4th round of the French, but that was another fraud run. Like,
I don't know.
No, he beat Purcell and Wolf on clay. Like, that's not like.
If Felix wins tomorrow, I'm officially retired from betting any more of his matches for as long as I live. I'm so biased with it. This is why I rely on numbers. I'm joking when I say these things. I do everything numbers based, but like if I did this intuitively, I would never bet on Felix ever again. Every time granted, I only tune in for like small segments of these matches, so maybe I'm just like catching the worst part of every match he plays. I don't know, but he's terrible. Like, he's just
he plays a very one-dimensional kind of bland brand of tennis.
He's passable on indoor hard. Honestly, he's passable on indoor hard, but like anything else is terrible.
Yeah. I mean, he played unbelievable a year and a half ago on indoor hard. He wasn't as good, as dominant this year.
But like backhand to backhand actually probably favors Ruud in this matchup, right?
Everything favors Ruud, except maybe the first serve.
I don't think so. I think Ruud's
maybe. I don't even know, Manny. I'm not saying it does. I'm saying it's like the first serve is close.
Yeah, but everything else is pro Ruud. So
yeah.
All right, Ruud minus 1.5 sets at minus 115. That's going to be our G.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, can we look though? Because they have like several different like versions of 2-0 Bovada does. It's probably worth just quickly clicking through. They might have like FA to not win a set at like plus money or something. I've seen goofiness like that.
Yeah,
they don't have that up, but yeah, FA or Ruud 2-0 is minus.
Yeah, it's minus 115 is the best you'll do. That's fine. I'm fine with minus 115. Yeah. Don't get greedy.
Ruud money line here. Blood pressure medication I probably need for this one if he somehow manages to lose.
Which one do you want, lisinopril or losartan? I got both.
Give me the heart attack medication for the This, what match was that? The Zverev match?
I could get you
Yeah.
some
Or the
painkillers too if
Medvedev.
you want. Yeah.
Too
Some
old.
an-
I'm kidding, but yeah, that will tilt me if I lose this one. I will be on Ruud money line there.
Okay, sounds good. And then the last match, Nadal versus Lechka. This is fascinating. I have an interesting take here. Um, for me personally, I'm all over Lechka, believe it or not. The fact that Nadal has to come back to back days after he had to play 3 hours against Kachin, that was a pretty physical match, especially in the second set and the third. I don't know how Rafa's gonna kind of pull up, after that. And Lechka theoretically has the game to really pressure Nadal. Like there's a type of player on clay which Nadal has always kind of struggled against. Like Lechka kind of has a Robin Soderling-ish game, where he hits big on both wings, will put pressure on Nadal. It's not going to be like Kachin, you know. So I think this could be like 6-1, 5-2. Like an interesting take actually is like to play like an alternate spread on Lechka and play like Lechka minus 6.5 or something like that. Because I could see that where Nadal has a ton of trouble holding serve. Lechka 2-0 at what was it, plus 205 seems appetizing. I think any kind of pro Lechka line is actually pretty good here. But I'm curious to see if you're going to agree with that.
I have
Um,
no idea. Like, I don't know, man. I have no idea. Like, this just
Oh,
seems like a
boring
disaster.
take.
This seems like something. This is another match I'd way rather live bet. No, like, don't you want to see how Nadal comes out physically? Because like, isn't that really the question here?
No, because
Because
if
like
Lechka
on
comes out and
clay,
breaks the first game, it's going to be, you're not going to get a good price.
true, but like, I guess if you really think Lechka's that much better on clay, regardless of the physicality piece, I'm just not buying into that. Like, I don't know. Nadal's looked better this week than he did in Barcelona. Um, I mean, Lehechka has a good game when he's playing well, but he can also play bad. Like
Yeah,
he's just like this
but
is.
Nadal's ball kind of sits up there for Lechka to rip. Like that's the kind of ball Lechka likes.
yeah, I'm
I
just
mean,
looking at the
Nadal's ball has
numbers.
more. Like Nadal's ball is something completely different. Um, I don't. I
Did
don't
you
know.
guys
This is
watch
a
the
really tough
match
one to bet.
today? Did you guys see the match
What?
today? I caught the end of the second set with the match today. Nadal looked horrible the couple games I saw. I assume that was just those
Yeah, he
few
was just kind
games.
of floating the ball back. He looked really tentative, and Kachin was just missing.
He looked underpowered too. Like he looked
Yeah,
like he was almost hurt. Like he
exactly.
couldn't generate
Underpowered. That's a good way to
pace
put it.
on the ball.
Yeah.
But then I saw a little bit of the third, and he looked kind of normal again. So I don't know what's going on. I was wondering if you guys had watched the whole
Well,
match.
he actually said this against he said this in matches that he can't like part of the issue is he can't like gun it the whole time because he's like
That
he like doesn't have like enough left in the tank and like Rafa also says a lot of stuff so I saw your kind of reaction and that's a fair reaction Tony but he actually said something along the lines of like I can't gun like I can't like I can't go for every first serve like he has to be like really judicious in how he like manages his like the bolts he's got in the tank basically.
that's what it looked
But
like.
that's
I mean,
scary.
I
That's
couldn't believe it.
scary on a back-to-back day.
Yeah.
The problem is like again going back to it like Nadal at home, he's just like so much. I mean, again, anywhere in Spain, I'm saying is at home, but like Nadal on home soil is just like he's just better. But I don't
I
know,
mean, this
man.
has been
And
Nadal's
then
worst
another thing
match
to think
with
about is like
1,000 on play. Like these conditions are not the best for Nadal. Like they're actually better for Lechka. They're better for like big flat ball hitters.
Yeah, just the numbers, Nadal's numbers are really good. I mean, this tournament, 3 matches, 136 hold plus break. That's as an average 3.2 game favorite, but he did beat who did he beat it as a dog? Was it Demonor or
Demonar, yeah, it
Dimitrov?
was Demonar.
Yeah.
Demonar.
Demonar? Yeah, so he in last month he has 5 matches. He's at 122.5 hold plus break. Betting wise, let's see, you'd be up 300 on 3 matches as a favorite betting on the spread, and then as a dog he's 1-1, you'd be down $12 or 0.12. Laheka 2 matches this tournament, he's at 113, 114 hold plus break. That's it for him. He only has 2 matches on clay. You'd have to go back to quite a while. So both guys haven't played much. That's it for the last 6 months. 2 matches and 5 matches, but Nadal's stats are way, way, way ahead. Oh, and Lehechkin is 2 matches, average 1 game favorite. So he has played the stronger competition relative to himself. But I mean, Nadal's numbers are crazy.
I mean, something to think about too, like what's the biggest match Lehechka's ever played in? Like these are like the way like the crowds get like really hyped up for Nadal at these events. Obviously, he's at home. It may be the last time he ever plays in Madrid. Like this Nadal guy's played. He's played in a lot of big matches in his career. He's played in front of a lot of big crowds. I don't know how much Lehechka's done that. And is there a mental? I don't know how much I necessarily trust Lehechka's mental side.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on Nadal. Just looking at it, it's not super strong for me. I will say I'm definitely taking the -0.5. I am not fooling around with the retirement. If it is a book that voids it, then fine. But there's no way I would bet Nadal any match for the rest of his career, probably on where you're gonna lose on a retirement. He's not, especially. I think I told you that before the French Open, like if anything goes wrong, he's out of there. Like he's
Oh
not
yeah, for
gonna.
sure, 100%,
Yeah, he's not gonna risk it.
100%. This is all about the French Open.
Yeah. So
See,
I'm gonna be on the -0.5.
to me, I think there are 2 possible outcomes. I think it's Lechka 2-0 or Nadal 2-1. Like I think if Lechka wins, he's just gonna dominate this match. But if Nadal wins, I think it's gonna be a dogfight where like Lechka caves in mentally. Like so I don't know. I think if you like the Nadal angle, I think the LWW is a good way to play it. And to me, I'm going Lechka 2-0. I don't know. I just like saw what Nadal was doing late in that second set,
Oh,
and he just looked super underpowered.
looked terrible. I couldn't believe it. I
Yeah,
haven't
just
really
like
watched
floating
him.
balls really short. Like that's the kind of shot balls that Lechka likes. And
And
I understand like he's not the mentally strongest, and he could just like rock, hit those long and like get flustered and stuff. But like those are really easy balls to rip. And like with Nadal not being as good on defense anymore, I think it's going to be problematic. Like this is not a good matchup for Nadal.
I just think this is a terrible matchup to bet. I'm gonna go. I'm like, I think because you're betting on Nadal's. I just think you're betting on Nadal's physicality. Like, look, it's not like Nadal. Like, it's not like Nadal can only float balls short. Like, he can play. I mean, like, Prana cited the stats. Like, he can play well. Like for bits and pieces of matches. Still, like, if he's physically fine,
But
I
to
think this
me,
is a tough match. But the
he would rather
physicality
play
priced in.
Demonor than Lechka.
I mean, I don't know. I think you're putting a lot of stock into the matchup here. I don't know. It's like
The matchup matters because Lechka has like a Soderling-esque game. Like that's the way he plays tennis.
sure, I agree with you, but like, I mean, okay, Soderling beat Nadal once. I mean, like, I don't know if there's necessarily a prototype of like that guy beats Nadal. Like, yeah, to me, it's just a mess. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to bet.
I'm
I don't want to bet on
disappointed.
Nadal being what?
I'm disappointed. I was hoping you'd have a
No, I mean, like, I
more
think
decisive take
like,
on this.
I still think Nadal's a really good player on clay. Like, is he top? Like, yeah, I mean,
Is he better than FAA? Sure. But a lot of guys are. But I don't think he's like top 20 on clay.
I mean, I think I'd have to disagree after seeing him just completely
Okay.
dismantle the guys he's dismantled. Like,
It's hard to say. Yeah, it's just you don't. It's hard, and there's a lot of unknowns still.
well, I mean, the question is like Nadal's body. Like, the question is like how
Yeah,
well is Nadal's body gonna hold up? You have no idea. Like, this is a mess.
yeah. Seeing the end of that second set was scary. I
Even
wish that wasn't all that I had seen because
to me, even if
and-
the body doesn't hold up well, I think Lechka should be a slight favorite. Or like the even if the body holds up well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
is Lehechka good on clay? I know his game on hard a little bit, but I mean he's only played 2 matches this year. Is he good like career wise on clay?
I think of him as pretty much an all quarter. I don't know about you, Manny. Probably not a
Yeah.
grass, but to me, he's like a hard play guy. I don't think
He
play hurt him.
started better on clay his career, but then like the better results happened on hard like lately with that good run in Australia.
There's a lot more
You know,
hard
and a good run
tournaments
in
too,
Indian
right?
Wells,
So
right? But like
yeah.
he's kind of regressed on clay, but like he started better on clay. So I don't know. I mean, I think the altitude should help him. I mean, it's cooler.
Last year and a half, but since beginning of 2023 at ATP level, Lehechka's 8-6, 100.5 service points won plus return points won, 99.2 hold plus break. So pretty average on, I'd say on
Yeah.
pretty average player
pretty
on
average.
play. Like, I just think there's to me, there's just, I don't know, man. I don't want to bet on Nadal's physical. Like, there's probably somebody who knows more than me about Nadal's physical health. So and then that's such a huge wild card in this matchup. Like,
I just feel like Nadal's going to retire if he's, if he is hurting physically or anything's bothering him. I think he's just going to retire.
he also might not even make it to the match. Like, this could be another walkover.
Yeah, it's possible too. He did have a tough match today. He didn't look 100%, so that's entirely possible.
Yeah, that's true.
What is
Yeah,
that? The last match up tomorrow? What time
Yeah.
is that one?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
a late
the
match.
night
It's the
match.
second night match on Stadium.
Wait,
Well,
what's the first night match?
it's a women's match.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. But it could be a really disappointing day if like Sinner withdraws and Nadal withdraws, which is there's a realistic possibility of that. That would
Oh
really
man, that means I have to watch FAA. Jeez.
Well, no, I mean,
No.
Nadal and Lehechka are on like way later, so that has nothing to do with your FAA.
You could watch FAA regardless.
Yeah. Your choice is, do you want to watch FAA? Your choice, Tony, is do you want to watch FAA Ruud or Struff Alcaraz?
Oh man, I'll take Struff Alcaraz.
It's close though, right? Like,
No, I don't want to watch FAA ever again. I swear, if I turn that match on and Felix is playing like God, I'm not betting ever again on one of his matches. I'm telling you, if somehow you could put a compilation of like the last 10 times I've turned into Felix matches, tuned into them, and just like put it together on video and have seen what I've seen, like how this guy is even winning matches is beyond me. I mean, he's just been like, and then compared to Ruud, like it's just. Ruud's in a different stratosphere from what I've have seen. Like it's not. They shouldn't even be on the same court.
True. All right, so
I don't know.
recap
We'll
of the bets. So Greek Sport, I'm all over Greek Sport. I'm playing the money line, the spread, and the what did I say? Forget. Oh, the over 12.5 for Greek Sport. You guys are both staying away, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I would lean Greek Sport. I'm staying away.
Okay. Medvedev, Bublik. We're all doing that fun 6-love 6-1 combo, right? Is that a family play?
My books don't have it, but I absolutely love that. Whatever
Okay.
the price is, yeah.
All right, sounds good. And then I think we're all laying games too, right?
Yeah, we're all laying games. That's a family play.
Nice, nice.
Like
So is
that.
All
is
right, we got
that,
one family play.
but it's
one
not
thing
a
to root for.
GBM, right? It's just
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just
I
fun.
Bublik is rarely a GBM play for us.
All
I feel like
right.
that's how you go straight to the poorhouse, right? Is betting multiple units on the out and whether or not Bublik's going to show
Yeah,
up.
it's
Like,
probably not the smartest move. It can take years off your life. So, so you guys are both on the Fritz money line, right?
yeah,
All right, I'm on the 3 sets at plus 120. Cerundolo Zverev. I'm on the Zverev over 12.5. What are you guys playing there?
I'm probably going to play the Lane Zverev money line at minus 450.
Okay.
I think that's what I had said too. I have that, yeah, marginally as a play, so I'll probably be on it.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Sinner Kachanov is our live betting match, right? Like we're gonna
Yeah.
see what happens in the first 2 games with Sinner's hip, and see what goes on there. I am all over Struff here. I think Tony, you are as well, right?
Yeah, I love Struff there. I'm gonna have to figure out how to attack it, but yeah, games, money line.
This is going the wrong way, though.
It is going the wrong way.
What is?
The
line is
line
going
is now
wrong.
down to Alcaraz
What
is
is-
now down to even money at 4.5, or Alcaraz now up to even money at 4.5. If you're laying 4.5,
Yeah, but the
Just
money
do-
line hasn't changed.
what?
The money line hasn't changed.
That's true. Yeah, it's still 4-1 on Struff, and there's better money lines out there. Prana, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, plus pennies at 4.5, plus 104 for Alcaraz, minus 117 for Struff. So that moved. I didn't remember. I forget what it was
Yeah,
at.
the spread moved.
It was
slightly.
minus
Okay.
120, minus 110, so it moved 10 cents
Shoot. Okay, well,
towards Struff, I guess.
I'm going 2 units on the Struff to win a set at plus 130. And then I'll probably sprinkle on the money line as well. And
yeah.
what about you, Brad?
I'm probably a pass here.
Oh,
Yeah. A lean Struff. I never Alcaraz, lean Struff, but I'm probably not gutsy enough to play it.
and then this is where Tony gets his blood pressure medication. We are all on the Casper Ruud side here, and GBM play is Ruud 2-0, right?
Yep. As much as I hate 2 zeros, like
Yeah.
Just Ruud money line for me. I think if he was serving first, I'd take the spread. I like the spread too, but probably just money line. Make it simple.
Okay. And then I have that unconventional angle on the Lechka side here. I'm probably going to play the Lechka money line and then the Lechka 2-0. And I'm considering if there's like some fun alternate spreads of like Lechka like minus 6.5, I might sprinkle on that too. And you guys are what, staying away?
I'll be on Nadal.
Okay, Nadal.
Like I said, definitely not the money line. Just whatever the spread is, minus a half. I don't want to mess around with the retirement.
Okay. All right.
yeah, I'll probably just pass. I have no knowledge of Rafa's health. I'm not in Rafa's camp. I'm not in Madrid. Like,
I'm not super excited about that one, so that's very marginal.
I'm super pumped for that one. I am super
I
pumped.
mean, I will give you credit. It's a cool take. Like, it's a cool take. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's a cool take.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably what like a lot of people on Twitter are not thinking, right?
Right. I think it's a different take.
So I've seen multiple matches here where this has happened to Nadal. I don't know if you remember back in 2013, he played Kei Nishikori in the final. And Nishikori had 6-1, like 4-1. And Nadal did come back to win. Fair and square, but like
Did you say 2000?
Yeah, but you went back to 2013, Manny. That's why we're laughing. Like,
I can't remember what I ate for breakfast. Geez, 2013.
I mean, I don't know how much I would take a match from 2013 into my betting handicap in 2024.
No, but there have been times where he's been blown off the court here.
I was amazed you could remember that far back. Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that. True tennis junkie. So,
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, yeah.
yeah.
Nadal's lost to a lot of guys. I mean, look, Nadal's played a lot of matches though, right? Like, how many times has he beaten guys like that? You know, that's kind of where I come back from. Is like, you know,
That's fair.
and it's not like it's minus 110, like it's pick. Like it's not like you're getting like, you know, I do like the idea, Manny, though, the alternate spread with Nadal. And like you hope he's just like hurt or doesn't quite have it physically and decides to play through anyways, just to like go
Yep.
out, you know, with one more match. Like,
Right. Yeah,
but
it's
to your
his
point,
last
then, Toronto,
match
like
here.
if he's hurt, does he just like if he's hurt, is he really gonna play through it? Probably not.
Well, honestly, I think if he takes the court, he's going to finish the match, right? Just because it's his last match in Madrid, and he hates doing that. Like remember in Australia against Mackey, he was like he couldn't move, but he still played through it, right? So if he takes the court, I think he's going to finish. The concern is if he takes the court at all.
I just don't think you. I guess maybe it depends on the injury. Like if it's something where I don't know, like that you talked about the Mackey match. He wasn't moving. Remember, I remember that match.
Right.
Like he couldn't move, but he finished it out. So, like if he doesn't think there's a risk to himself, then maybe. But if he thinks there's any risk to like his future or chances in French Open, he's not gonna play.
Yeah, but
I was gonna
okay.
was gonna say something else off topic, man. You should like negotiate something with the books. You should tell them I'm gonna bet on every single tennis match, and what kind of deal can you? I promise you, I will bet every match. I think it's great because I bet on almost every match too. But you're the only person I think I've ever talked to. You're actually sad when one of us doesn't have a bet on one of the matches. You're like, really? You can't find anything?
Yeah, find something.
Are you
look
sure you're
harder.
passing? Can I talk you into the over 12.5? Oh, that's great.
Well, so it's funny because I would say I'm like medium volume, but like I probably pass in the majority of the matches. And Manny's like, or like the pods are a lot of Manny trying to talk me into bets.
I'm high volume, but Manny's got me beat. I can't compete with him.
Yeah.
Well, I can't make any deals with these books because my unit sizes are pathetic. So, you know, I don't think they're gonna care. But I just like
I'm
like
joking.
having the action, you know?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
Very
it's fun.
You're gonna learn from it too, for sure.
All right. Well, the matches start in 4.5 hours. So without further ado, I guess we're gonna say goodbye for the night. But as always, thanks again, Tony, for joining us. This was a lot of fun, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, our first ever repeat guest.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
great.
appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely.
Anytime you want me
Anytime.
on, just let me know. I'll come back. Yeah, thank you guys.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right. Have a good night, guys. Best of luck.
Bye.
All right, you too. See you guys. Good luck.